Chapter 2999. This is the corpse of a demigod. Aogu stood in front of Ningqi, closed his eyes, and felt Ningqi's aura. He then opened his eyes and sighed. The meteor-grade mages who followed behind Aogu showed surprise and joy on their faces. Thinking about the hard work of the past few years, it was really not in vain. Teacher Aogu, what should we do with these people from the Holy Dragon Academy? Virus walked to Aogu's side and coldly glanced at Teacher Yen and the others. When his eyes fell on Su Qin, a trace of fear flashed in his eyes. A trivial high-level mage, in such a short period of time, had mana that was not weaker than his. If he were to wait a few more years, wouldn't he become another mage god? At that time, Star Peak Academy would probably be directly suppressed by the Holy Dragon Academy. I'll leave them to you, Aogu lightly said, then subconsciously reached out and touched the thin layer of crystal outside Ningqi's body. Vera's eyes flashed with a hint of surprise. Su Qin and the others have been shackled by Aogu. Now that their mana was sealed, they were just like ordinary people. It would be very easy for him to deal with them. Any magic apprentice can easily kill them. Perfect. I have never heard of such a perfectly preserved demigod corpse. As long as I use my secret technique, I will definitely be able to extract a trace of demigod's bloodline from his body. At that time, I will become the first demigod of the human race. Aogu felt the coldness on his fingertips and murmured to himself. Su Qin and the others were very pale. They were handed over to Virus by Aogu. They could imagine how Virus would treat them. Is the Holy Dragon Academy going to disappear from the Magic Star today? Su Qin's eyes showed a trace of unwillingness. Kacha. A crisp sound rang in the hall. Aogu's brows slightly moved. Virus and the other meteor-grade mages glanced at each other, then looked around, and finally looked at Ningqi with a stunned expression. Kacha kacha. The crisp sound became clearer and clearer. Everyone could clearly see that the crystal outside Ningqi's body was covered with countless spiderweb-like lines. Bang! A loud noise resounded. The crystal completely shattered, then turned into a white mist and was swallowed by Ningqi. It was only at this moment that everyone was horrified to discover that the demigod corpse they thought was actually a living thing. A look of horror flashed across Augur's eyes, and he subconsciously raised his magic staff. However, just as he raised his wand in front of him, Ningqi grabbed it and crushed it into sawdust that fell to the ground. You want to extract my bloodline? Ningqi smiled and said. He spoke in the lingua franca of the Sorcerer Planet, which he had learned from those fellows from the Holy Dragon Academy over the past few years. Pooh! A mouthful of blood sprayed from Aogu's mouth. Just as the mouthful of blood was about to land on Ningqi, time seemed to stop. The blood condensed in midair. Time magic! Su Qin and the others were shocked. Virus and the rest of the meteor rank mages were already slowly retreating, their expressions not much different from Su Qin's. Great demigod, I am God's grace. Puff! Aogu was only halfway through his words when his head shattered. The headless corpse fell to the ground. Everyone present looked at this scene in shock. Aogu, one of the human race's magic gods, died just like that? When they thought that they had been in close contact with such a terrifying existence for several years, Su Qin and the others' complexions became extremely pale, and their eyes were filled with fear. So. Virus and the others turned and fled. Now that Aogu was dead, if they stayed here, they would only die. Ningqi just smiled and did not make a move. Ningqi was really not in the mood to deal with this kind of ant who was not even a human immortal. No, don't kill me, don't kill me. When Ningqi looked at them, many of the Holy Dragon Academy's students were so scared that they collapsed to the ground, the panic in their eyes almost condensed into essence. Why would I kill you? Ningqi smiled, then walked out of the great hall. But when he reached the door, his footsteps paused slightly. Immediately afterward, the shackles in Su Qin and the others' hands instantly shattered. Your Excellency, please wait. Su Qin suddenly chased after Ning Qi in front of everyone's shocked eyes. Teacher Su Qin. Teacher Yen was horrified. Are you kidding me? This existence can even kill a magic god at will. If they are accidentally angered, they will end up like Ao Gu. What's wrong? Ning Qi turned and looked at Su Qin. Your Excellency, do you know the origin of the Holy Dragon Academy? Su Qin hesitated for a moment, but finally bravely looked into Ning Qi's eyes. When I was sleeping, it used the aura that I inadvertently emitted to establish the academy. Is that right? Ning Qi smiled slightly. Everyone was slightly startled when they heard this, and their expressions suddenly became complicated. After Ning Qi's reminder, they finally came to a realization. Didn't the first deans who established the Holy Dragon Academy experience a similar situation as them now? Didn't they absorb the aura of this demigod and break through to become a magic god and establish the powerful Holy Dragon Academy? So Your Excellency knows everything. Su Qin froze for a moment, then said respectfully, in that case the Holy Dragon Academy should also belong to Your Excellency's inheritance. Inheritance, that's right. Teacher Yen and the others' eyes suddenly lit up. If that's the case, then they can actually be regarded as the inheritors of this demigod. After all, the Holy Dragon Academy relied on him to exist. I know what you want to say. Take this top-grade immortal stone. With it, it will be enough for your Holy Dragon Academy to prosper for the next 10,000 years. Being able to meet me can also be regarded as your opportunity. Ning Qi casually threw a top-grade immortal stone to Su Qin. For Ning Qi, this kind of thing was as casual as giving a 5 yuan red packet to a child during the new year. As soon as Su Qin took the immortal stone, he felt that it contained an extremely terrifying magic power. When he raised his head in surprise, Ning Qi's figure had already disappeared. Ning Qi's casual action had made the Holy Dragon Academy one of the top forces on the Sorcerer Planet for the next 10,000 years. Even the human immortal creature that had been in a deep slumber had been awakened. However, this was all in the future. At this moment, Ning Qi had already left the magic star, but he did not intend to return to the ancestral star. Instead, he entered the good fortune domain. After Jiang Yu's cultivation was abolished, he had been left in the good fortune domain. It was time to meet him. Chapter 3000. Roar. Zhu Gonglie's good and evil thoughts seemed to have lost its mind, leaving behind only the purest thoughts. When it saw Ning Qi and Jiang Yu, it immediately pounced towards them. The good thought chose Ning Qi. The evil thought chose Jiang Yu. No! Jiang Yu let out a scream of terror. He didn't want to die yet. Although his cultivation had fallen to a human immortal, he believed that with his Emperor Realm strength, there was still a chance for him to recover. Presumptuous! Ning Qi snorted. The good and evil thoughts were squeezed into a small ball by an invisible force. It fell into Ning Qi's palm and struggled. Without Zhu Gonglie's body, you're just a thought. You can't cause any trouble. Ning Qi looked at the small ball in his palm and snorted. With a wave of his hand, the small ball turned into a shooting star and disappeared from his and Jiang Yu's sight. You want to kill me? Jiang Yu looked at Ning Qi with a complicated gaze. That's right. Ning Qi smiled and nodded. Wait. I'm already a cripple and a human immortal. I can't cause any trouble like it. You didn't even kill it, so please spare my dog life. Jiang Yu said with a terrified expression. However, Ning Qi could still see a trace of resentment in his eyes. It was obvious that Jiang Yu didn't mean it when he begged for mercy. He was just trying to buy time so that he could recover his cultivation. Spare your worthless life? Ning Qi pondered. Jiang Yu had a look of anticipation on his face, but in his heart, he was cursing viciously. If he could recover his Emperor Realm cultivation base, he would definitely use the most vicious methods on Ning Qi and make him beg for death. It's not impossible. Ning Qi smiled. Oh! Jiang Yu's eyes were filled with joy. However, he could hear a special meaning in Ning Qi's words. What do you want me to give in exchange? Hand over the eternal flame first. Ning Qi smiled. Eternal flame, Jiang Yu's expression changed. You don't remember? Weren't you the one who took it from me in the netherworld? You've forgotten it so quickly? Jiang Yu's face turned extremely ugly, as if he had eaten a mouthful of dog shit. It would have been better if Ning Qi hadn't mentioned this. Now that he thought about it, he was extremely regretful. If he had known earlier, he would have used the simplest method to kill Ning Qi. Now, he wouldn't have fallen into such a predicament. However, he didn't expect that when he had thrown Ning Qi into the void turbulence, Ning Qi would be able to survive in such an extreme state. Surviving in such an environment, however, the eternal flame was the only thing he could rely on to recover his cultivation. If he handed it over to Ning Qi, it would be extremely difficult for him to recover his emperor cultivation. Are you still hesitating? The corners of Ning Qi's mouth lifted slightly. Jiang Yu gritted his teeth and a flame-shaped tattoo appeared on his glabella. Then, as if the tattoo had come to life, it separated from his glabella and turned into a ball of flame. With a thought from Ning Qi, the flames fell on the back of his neck and formed a flame tattoo. I've already returned the eternal flame to you. I hope that you can keep your promise. However, there's one thing that I have to tell you. This eternal flame has an extraordinary origin. Even after all these years, I've been unable to refine it. Jiang Yu said, Don't worry. I'm not the one who wants it. It's King Qin Guangwang who needs it. With it, King Qin Guangwang will be able to regain control of the 6 paths of reincarnation. At that time, I wonder if the immortals of your Tiandao clan will have to report to his territory when they die? Ning Qi smiled faintly. The flame tattoo gradually faded and eventually disappeared without a trace. If one wasn't in the ancient transformation realm, even an immortal emperor wouldn't be able to tell that he had the eternal flame. After all, Ning Qi's cultivation was already at the primordial unity true immortal realm. He was no longer a puny low-level immortal from before. What? Regain control of the 6 paths of reincarnation? Jiang Yu's eyes flashed with a hint of astonishment. His gaze fell on the back of Ning Qi's neck. He couldn't believe it. Could the true owner of the eternal flame be King Qin Guangwang, a peak 3rd step almighty from the ancient immortal clan? I know that you have a secret grotto heaven in the Jiang clan that belongs to you. The reason you were able to stand out among the many geniuses of the Jiang clan and reach the Emperor realm is also because of this secret grotto heaven, right? Ning Qi smiled faintly. Jiang Yu gasped and cried out involuntarily, How did you know? This was his most important secret. Even the 3 ancient transformation realm patriarchs of the Jiang clan didn't know about it. How did Ning Qi reveal it today? At this moment, Jiang Yu felt as if he had been stripped naked. An inexplicable fear rose in his heart. A long, long time ago, he was born in the Jiang clan. His father and mother were just mediocre disciples of the Jiang clan. Their cultivation bases weren't high, and they were only heavenly immortals. Under such conditions, Jiang Yu's aptitude naturally wouldn't be too high. Under normal circumstances, his limit would only be golden immortal or grand heavenly immortal, and he wouldn't have survived until now. At that time, Jiang Yu was often looked down upon and humiliated in the Jiang clan. Just when he was in despair, he obtained a mystical grotto heaven. That grotto heaven was even more prosperous than the immortal world. He obtained countless opportunities inside, and from then on, he soared to the sky, becoming one of the geniuses of the Jiang clan. He had only met with setbacks on the ancestral star once, and that was when Ning Qi used the immortal exterminating bow to make him impotent. Now, even in his most desperate times, Jiang Yu treated it as his last trump card. Even if he had to return the eternal flame to Ning Qi, he still had a glimmer of hope in his heart. That grotto heaven mystic realm is really impressive. There are third-step cultivators that far surpass your ancient transformation realm patriarchs of the Jiang clan. Speaking of which, if you didn't meet me, perhaps you would be the main character in this world? Ningqi smiled faintly. How did you know that? Impossible. Every time I leave the Heaven Dao Pavilion, I would seal my memories. Even if my soul was extracted and refined, you wouldn't know about the existence of this grotto heaven mystic realm. What are you? Jiang Yu looked at Ningqi in horror. I see. Realization flashed across Ningqi's eyes. It was no wonder that when he used his cultivation at the peak of the later stage of the Dao querying realm to check Jiang Yu's memories, he had met with some obstruction. He was unable to see everything clearly and could only vaguely learn that his mother, Prince Mu Ting, and Wang Shui's soul had been thrown into the Grotto Heaven secret realm by Jiang Yu. Chapter 3001. Fair? Jiang Yu wanted to curse. How was it fair? The secret paradise was his foundation. In comparison, the eternal flame couldn't be compared at all. After all, he hadn't obtained any benefits from the eternal flame. I'll give you 10 breaths of time to consider. After that, I'll crush your body and extract your soul. It doesn't matter if I can't find the key. You're dead anyway. I'm the only one who knows this secret in the immortal world. I can take my time. Ningqi smiled. Damn it. That son of AB****. Jiang Yu cursed in his heart, but his expression didn't change at all. He looked very calm. 3 breaths. Ningqi smiled. Jiang Yu. 8 breaths. Ningqi sighed softly and slowly raised his palm. At the same time, the immortal qi in his body rapidly gathered in his palm. Even an ordinary primordial immortal would not be able to withstand such a palm strike, let alone a human immortal like Jiang Yu. Wait. Jiang Yu's eyes flashed with despair. He stared straight at Ningqi. If I give it to you, will you let me go? Who said I'll let you go? Isn't my creation realm good? You can live here. What do you want? Mountain? Lake? Sea? I can give you anything. Ningqi smiled. As soon as he finished speaking, a rumbling sound came from behind him. Mountains rose up from the ground, and there was an irregularly shaped lake in the middle of the mountains. Jiang Yu's eyes flashed with shock. Then, he heard the sound of waves behind him and smelled the faint smell of the sea. Creation? What kind of technique is this? As an Emperor realm existence, Jiang Yu had seen many things. Even so, he could not recover from the shock in a short period of time. The shock in his eyes is real. Ningqi's eyes flickered. It seemed that the cultivation system of the central mainland was indeed unique. Any creator could form a creation realm, and in the immortal realm, not even human immortals could reach this realm. Perhaps the heritage of the central mainland wasn't as simple as he had thought it to be? No, with his technique, it's impossible for him to reach this stage. It seems like the place I'm in is also a secret realm, and it's under his complete control. An idea flashed across Jiang Yu's mind. He finally understood. 10 breaths of time have passed. Are you still planning to delay? Ningqi said lightly. I can give you the item, but you have to swear that you won't kill me. Jiang Yu whispered. Then you should just die. Ningqi smiled and raised his hand to slap. Here, here. A trace of rage appeared in Jiang Yu's eyes. With a flip of his palm, a stone that seemed to be shaped like a shooting star appeared in his palm, and it emanated a trace of an unusual aura. Ningqi had never sensed such an aura in the immortal dimension, and it was obvious that the stone ought to have come from that abode of the realm. That's right. A wise man submits to circumstances. Ningqi laughed like a villain. He reached out to take the stone and immersed his spiritual will into it. He wanted to see what was special about this stone. Jiang Yu's heart felt like it was bleeding. This was his greatest secret, his greatest reliance, and it was snatched away by Ning-Chi just like that. It was as if his wife was snatched away. But it was fine. After all, the abode was in the Jiang family's abode. He believed that with Ning-Chi's identity, he would not be able to sneak in a short period of time. It was like signing a contract to sell his wife, but his wife was in a faraway hometown and did not have to deliver the goods so early. This was the only comfort Jiang Yu had at the moment. As long as he had enough time, he could think of a way to snatch the meteor pendant back from Ning-Chi. Even if he could not snatch it back, he could inform the Jiang family. He could not let Ning-Chi enter even if he had to expose the existence of the abode. This aura is full of vitality, interesting. Ning-Chi's eyes moved slightly, and he suddenly used his fingernails to scratch a small wound on the back of his hand. His current physical body was extraordinarily strong. Previously, when the devil chi from the heart of the demon patriarch poured into his body, his physical body had been tempered to a terrifying degree. His demonic cultivation had also soared to the level of the current primordial immortal. According to the saying of the Devil Clan's mainland, he was now also a primordial immortal true demon. After that, he absorbed the pot of soup that Zhu Ganglai used to recover his cultivation. Although most of it was used to promote the 8-9 arcane art, a quarter of it was absorbed by Ning-Chi's physical body. A quarter was integrated into Ning-Chi's 7th immortal meridian, and the remaining 2 quarters were used to help the 8-9 arcane art reach the peak of the 2nd level. It could be said that Ning-Chi was now a ferocious beast in human form. Even if he stood still and let countless primordial immortals attack him without any defense, the existence that could kill him might not even be born in the immortal realm. Ning-Chi was confident that he could fight against an immortal lord. Apart from himself, no one could make such a wound on his body so easily. As soon as the wound appeared, a special power surged out of the meteor pendant and healed Ning-Chi's wound. At the same time, Ning-Chi vaguely felt that the strength of this piece of skin was a little stronger than the other parts of his body. After the meteor pendant released this special power, it became dim and lifeless. It was as if it had exhausted all the power it contained. When Jiang Yu saw this, his expression turned even uglier, especially when he realized that the meteor pendant had only healed a little of Ning-Chi's wound before exhausting its power. He felt a trace of fear towards the strength of Ning-Chi's physical body. One should know that even if his entire body was beaten to a pulp, the power in the pendant was enough for him to recover 10 times, or even 20 times. Most importantly, he thought that he could hide it from Ning-Chi and not tell Ning-Chi that the meteor pendant had healing effects other than being a key. But Ning-Chi still found out. "Looks like you also planned to use it to recover your cultivation," Ning-Chi smiled at Jiang Yu. "It's a pity that the power in it is of little value to me. It only healed a little of my injury before its power was exhausted. How do you usually replenish the power in it?" "Hee," Jiang Yu laughed awkwardly. "As long as I enter the Grotto Heaven mystic realm, it will automatically replenish itself." "I see. Although it's of little value, it's better than nothing." Ning-Chi nodded with a smile and kept the pendant in his sea of consciousness. Then, he looked at Jiang Yu with a serious face. "What I'm going to ask you next, you must answer honestly and not lie. Otherwise, I will still kill you." "What? Didn't you say that after I give you the good stuff, you'll—" Jiang Yu's eyes surged with anger and he felt extremely aggrieved. "My fist is bigger than yours. I'm definitely the one who sets the rules. And I didn't say that I would kill you. It's just a few questions." Ning-Chi smiled faintly. "Ask away." Chapter 3002. Since you remember Feng Jiuxian, you should remember Wang Muting. Why did you take her away and throw her into that Grotto Heaven realm? Ning-Chi looked at Jiang Yu indifferently. "I'm watching you. If you have the slightest intention of lying to me, I'll beat you to a pulp." After all, the key is already in my hands. I can tell you the truth, but you have to promise not to kill me. Jiang Yu took a deep breath. The feeling of having one's life in someone else's hands was truly depressing and humiliating. Speak. Ning Qi smiled. I noticed that the bloodline in her body was very unusual, so I erased her memories and threw her into that grotto heaven realm, into a sect I founded. My guess was right. In a very short period of time, she showed great talent in cultivation. Her current cultivation base is probably stronger than yours. Jiang Yu said. Jiang Yu said. Sect? Ning Qi did not see this in Jiang Yu's memories. He did not expect Jiang Yu to have founded his own faction in that grotto heaven realm. But erased memories. You erased her soul? Ning Qi's face turned cold. Jiang Yu quickly said, No. Her soul is still there, but I've used a restrictive spell to seal her memories. As long as I can go back, I'll have a way to help her recover. Don't worry, she's doing well in the sect. Ning Qi looked at Jiang Yu coldly for a while until he was drenched in cold sweat. Then, he said, Next question. Back in the netherworld, you took away a woman's soul from a netherworld cultivator. Her name is Wang Shui, and she was also thrown into that grotto heaven realm by you. Where is she now? What happened? Jiang Yu looked at Ning Qi dumbfounded. First it was Feng Jiuxian, then Wang Muting, then Wang Shui? He never knew that the grudge between him and Ning Qi had been entangled since a long time ago. Not going to tell me? Ning Qi looked at Jiang Yu with a faint smile. That soul is not called Wang Shui. She is the reincarnation of an ancient immortal. You have returned to the ancestral planet a long, long time ago through a trick set up by a being on the ancestral planet. You should know Shengong, Immortal Lord. She is his daughter, the reincarnation of Shengong Shui. Jiang Yu's eyes flashed with a venomous glint once again. Shengong Shui possessed the great Tao body. At that time, he was prepared to marry her and use her body to strengthen his own bloodline. However, Ning Qi had obstructed him and turned him into an inhumane eunuch who was mocked by others. Of course I remember Shengong, Immortal Monarch. You said that Wang Shui is the reincarnation of Shengong Shui? Ning Qi nodded slowly. He had suspected this since the beginning. After all, the two women's appearances were too similar. Then where is she? Ning Qi said lightly. Jiang Yu's face revealed a hint of hesitation. Speak. Even if you don't speak, I'll still kill you. If you speak, you'll still have a chance to live. Ning Qi smiled. I'll speak. Jiang Yu seemed to have thrown caution to the wind as a determined look appeared on his face. When I first discovered her, I brought her to the sect in the secret abode and found her a physical body. I even helped her recover her memories. However, she didn't know what was good for her, so I imprisoned her in the sect and asked someone to help her recover her memories. I imprisoned her in the sect and tortured her all day long, but she refused to submit to me. At this point, Jiang Yu's face revealed a sinister smile. So, I sold her to a place called the Soul Refining Demon Sect in the Grotto Heaven Mystic Realm. She should have been refined into a soul demon by now, right? Oh, what's the name of the sect that you founded? Ning Qi said lightly. You don't seem angry? You purposely looked for her. You're obviously very close to her. Why aren't you angry? Jiang Yu looked at Ning Qi in surprise. Answer my question. Ning Qi said lightly. Sacred Sect Jiang. The sect that I founded is called Sacred Sect Jiang. Jiang Yu said slowly. Now, immediately open the passage to the Heaven Dao Pavilion. Ning Qi said. You're indeed angry. Are you sure you want me to open the passage to the Heaven Dao Pavilion now? With your strength, you can't even enter the grotto heaven of the Jiang family, unless you can become a demon like before and reach the third step. Jiang Yu laughed softly. However, he was extremely nervous at this moment. He tried his best to not let Ning Qi see through him. He purposely angered Ning Qi just now so that he could reach this step, although it was very risky. But he succeeded. If you say another word of nonsense, I'll send you on your way, Ning Qi said lightly. All right. Then you have to at least help me recover my golden immortal cultivation. No. Grand Luo cultivation. Only then can I open the passage to the Heaven Dao Pavilion through the secret technique. Jiang Yu said. He paused. At the same time, you have to bring me out of this place. I'm afraid the passage can't be opened here. As soon as he finished speaking, his vision turned black. Then, he found himself in the pitch-black universe. In the next moment, a palm landed on Jiang Yu's shoulder. Endless power surged into Jiang Yu's body, causing his aura to rise continuously. Earth Immortal, Heavenly Immortal, Golden Immortal, Grand Luo. You temporarily possess the cultivation of a Grand Luo. Open the passage immediately, Ning Qi said lightly. All right. Jiang Yu nodded and tried his best to look calm. Then, he formed a hand seal and a golden line appeared out of nowhere, forming a formation in front of Jiang Yu. Hurry! Open it! Jiang Yu roared excitedly in his heart. In the next moment, the formation suddenly dimmed and shattered. What's going on? Jiang Yu's eyes flashed with astonishment. You failed. Continue. Ning Qi said lightly. Yes. Without needing Ning Qi's reminder, Jiang Yu immediately tried to open the passage to the Heaven Dao Pavilion again. The result was the same as before. He failed again. The third time. Failed. The fifth time. Failed. The 101st time. Failed. Jiang Yu's face turned paler and paler. Suddenly, Ning Qi's palm left his shoulder. Then, Jiang Yu's aura dropped rapidly and returned to the human immortal stage. I think you want to die. Ning Qi looked at Jiang Yu calmly. His tone was emotionless, but it made Jiang Yu's body stiffen. Beads of cold sweat seeped out of his forehead. I got it. My family must have closed the passage. That must be it. Otherwise, there's no reason why I can't open it. It must be. Chapter 3003. The Tiandao family closed the passageway? Ning Qi's eyes flickered. Jiang Yu could not be lying. He could not open the passageway. Ning Qi knew that Jiang Yu was dreaming of opening the passageway and returning to the family. That way, he would have a chance to survive. But why would the Tiandao family close the passageway? Did they summon all the disciples of the Tiandao family before this? Ning Qi's eyes turned solemn. It was very likely that something big had happened in the immortal world while he was away, and it was so big that even the Tiandao family had to avoid it. Let me try again. Jiang Yu looked at Ning Qi unwillingly. It was not easy for him to find a chance to provoke Ning Qi and fight for a chance to go to the Heaven Dao Pavilion. He was not willing to give up just like that. He, Ning Qi sneered. With a slight thought, he pulled Jiang Yu into the good fortune domain. However, he left a trace of qi on Jiang Yu's body to ensure that he wouldn't be killed by Zhu Gonglia's good and evil thoughts. He did not want Jiang Yu to die now. At least, he had to find Wang Shui and Wang Muting. With a thought, Nuwa appeared in front of him. Ning Qi took a step forward and entered Nuwa. Master, you seem to have been in seclusion for a long time. Nuwa appeared beside Ning Qi and said curiously. Then, a string of data flashed across her eyes. A total of 539 years, 7 months, and 23 days. So it's been more than 500 years, Ning Qi's eyes flickered. Check where we are now and set a route back to the ancestral star. All right. Nuwa nodded. However, after a long time, more than 2 hours, she still could not find out which immortal domain Nuwa was in. Master, there is no information about this place in the database. Therefore, we can't pinpoint our current location. Nuwa looked up helplessly. Let's go in that direction. I remember coming from that direction. Ning Qi pointed in a direction and said. As the Nuwa was moving forward, Ning Chi sat on the big sofa in the middle of the cockpit and took out the All-Heaven talisman. He wanted to know if something big had happened in the immortal world in the past hundreds of years. Ning Chi believed that there must be some clues in the All-Heaven Forum. Back then, Ning Chi had asked Luo Hongua if the All-Heaven talisman had a host, but Luo Honggua's answer was shocking. The All-Heaven talisman didn't have a host at all. From the moment the All-Heaven network was built, it would exist forever. It could be said that the immortal Qi that was everywhere in the immortal world was the host of the All-Heavens talisman. As long as the immortal world existed, the All-Heavens network would continue to exist. The moment he opened the All-Heavens Forum, a string of blood-red titles instantly entered his eyes. The Devil Sky Mystic Realm has been completely occupied by the demon race. Immortal Lord Emosia is being hunted by the Hanbei Demon Monarch and has been missing for 100 years. The mad demon lord went to the homeworld and was slain by a single slash. The immeasurable immortal has defected to the fiends and become the 8th fiend lord of the fiend army. The 9 Heavens celestial sect was annihilated by the demons. Their sect leader, perfected cultivator of the 9 Heavens, had his limbs severed and was impaled in front of the sect leader's palace. He was tortured to death. Where did the Tiandao clan go? Does anyone know where the Tendo family went? Damn it! So many fellow Taoists from the Devil Sky Immortal Domain were killed? Who will follow me to the Devil Sky Immortal Domain to fight against the demon race? The Devil Sky Immortal Realm has fallen. I suggest that everyone head to the Langya Immortal Realm and fight against the Hanbei Demon Monarch under the leadership of the Langya Immortal Emperor. One shocking post after another caused Ning Chi's expression to change greatly. He continued to read for 3 days and 3 nights, starting from 500 years ago to the latest post. He was shocked to find that the devil race had returned to the immortal realm and started a small war. A battle between immortals and demons. However, the battle had only just begun. The demon tribe had not taken any drastic actions after taking over the demon heaven immortal realm. It seemed like they were preparing for something. Hanbei Demon Emperor. Demon Emperor should be equivalent to an immortal emperor. If the demon race only has one Hanbei Demon Emperor, why would the Tiandao clan hide and not come out? Wasn't it easy to deal with? Ning Chi's eyes revealed a hint of doubt. If the Tiandao clan took action, how could the demon race have been so rampant for the past 500 years? They couldn't even occupy a planet, let alone the Devil Sky Immortal Realm. Unless this is what the Tiandao clan wants to see the most. Ning Chi's eyes flickered. A few thoughts flashed through Ning Chi's mind. A moment later, Ning Chi let out a long sigh with a solemn expression. He felt that he had seen through the Tiandao clan's plan. Before he joined the demon race, the situation in the immortal realm was very simple. The ancient immortal clans had appeared one after another, including Xie Baian and Fan Wujiu, who had steadily entered the 3rd step, not to mention a terrifying existence like King Qingguang. Although his cultivation had not recovered, he was still a peak 3rd step almighty. The identity of the dominator of samsara in 6 realms was enough to scare the remaining elders of the Tiandao clan. If the Tiandao clan did not receive any powerful reinforcements, they should have been in a disadvantageous position. But now that the demon race had invaded the immortal realm, the Tiandao clan had retreated. Didn't they want to imitate the great war of immortals and demons? They wanted the ancient immortal clan to fight the demon race and use the demon race to exhaust the ancient immortal clan's strength. When Ning Chi figured this out, he was certain that the demon race's sudden appearance was definitely related to the Tiandao clan. After the great war of immortals and demons, the Tiandao clan was the final winner. Then, they might know the situation after the demon race's continent was shattered. It was very likely that they had a fragment of the demon race's continent similar to the immortal prison, Otherwise, how could it be such a coincidence that the demon race came just after a few people from the ancient immortal clan came out? They really are unscrupulous. Ning Qi's eyes flashed coldly. If his guess was correct, then the Tiandao clan was simply treating the other immortals of the immortal realm like pigs. It didn't matter how they were killed by the demon race. The Devil Sky immortal realm had at least a few billion human immortals, right? Not to mention the mortals. Their numbers are terrifying. Their numbers must have reached an extremely terrifying level. But now, Ning Qi felt that their chances of survival were very low. This was because Ning Qi himself had a demonic cultivation. His understanding of the demon race might only be slightly inferior to the immortals who had fought against the demon race. The immortals and mortals of the Devil Sky immortal realm might not even know that they weren't killed by the demon race. Instead, they were pushed into a pit of fire by their own people. I wonder if Emo Xie died at the hands of the Hanbei demon emperor. He has been missing for over 100 years without any definite news of his death. Perhaps he has already escaped. This immortal realm is really going to be chaotic. Chapter 3004. Nuwa kept warping, passing by one planet after another. Ning Qi would take the opportunity to scan the planet with his divine sense to see if there were any traces of demons. On the surface, the demon race only occupied the demonic sky immortal realm, but it was likely that they had secretly sent out countless spies to lurk on the various planets. Demonic Qi was terrifying, be it for immortals or mortals. Immortal Qi would not allow mortals to become immortals, but demonic Qi would turn mortals into demons, turning them into demonic creatures. Even if their combat strength was not high, they were equivalent to living beings carrying demonic germs. Once there were enough of them, they could put low-level immortals in danger. Back when the demon race invaded the immortal realm, they had used this method. One by one, they infected the planets in the immortal realm like a plague. Fortunately, when Ning Qi breathed a sigh of relief, the planets he passed by basically had no traces of the devil. However, this was only the ghost domain. After arriving at the nearest immortal domain, it was temporarily unknown what the situation would be like. Master, how did you get so far away? It's been a month, but my data center still hasn't detected the route. Nuwa hopped onto the sofa beside Ning Qi and sat down helplessly. Ning Qi smiled. Back then, he was at peak Dao querying advanced stage. His speed was so terrifying that even Nuwa's warping at full speed could not compare. Ning Qi himself did not calculate how long he had flown, but now that Nuwa had been warping for a month, it still had not returned to the immortal realm. From this, one could see how far away he was from the immortal realm. Don't worry. Ning Qi patted Nuwa's head and continued browsing through the posts on the All Heavens forum. In this month, he did not go to the top cultivation training ground, nor did he use the All Heaven talisman to contact Li Xian. This was because Luo Hongua had said that the All Heaven talisman modified from the Immortal Lord token with absolute authority was in his master's hands. It was in his master's hands, so before Ning Qi got Luo Hongua to help him modify his Immortal Lord's token, he did not plan to use the communication function. Who knew if the communication at this moment was being monitored? Ning Qi did not intend to let others know that he had returned to the immortal realm. Even if he returned to the ancestral planet, he would disguise himself. In such a chaotic situation, there was no benefit in revealing his identity. Back then, he had held the Demon Lord's heart, which was exposed by Jiang Yu. Many people already knew that the demon race had invaded. Who knew if the demon race would know about this? If he knew, he would definitely become the first target of the demon race. I wonder if King Qingguang has found a few more ancient immortals in the past 500 years. Since the Tiandao clan has already retreated, as long as I can find the place where the ancient immortals are being suppressed, I can break the restrictive spell and release them. The great sage of the heaven leveling has been imprisoned for long enough. This time, I have to find a time to go and take a look. Master, I've detected our location, Niuhua said with a solemn expression. Yes, where is it? Ning Qi said lightly. Devil Sky, Immortal Realm. Niuhua blinked her eyes and looked at Ning Qi. I've disguised myself. Demons shouldn't be able to discover my existence. Devil Sky, Immortal Region? I can't believe I ran so far. Ning Qi looked at Niuhua in astonishment. Who knows, you've really tired me out. Niuhua rolled her eyes at him. Since you've already returned to the Immortal Region, you should go take a rest. Ning Qi slowly stood up. Not long after, he put away the Niuhua. Then, the immortal qi in his body gradually faded, and a trace of evil appeared on his face. His entire body was shrouded in a formidable demonic aura. Ning Qi stood where he was and thought for a while. Then, his body grew bigger and stronger. In just a few breaths of time, he had transformed into a small giant that was 10 feet tall. His body was covered with muscles and there were many black patterns on his muscles. It seemed like he was still not satisfied. A pair of winding horns grew on Ning Qi's forehead once again, followed by a pair of wings over 10 zhang long on his back. Not bad. Ning Qi's lips curled upward after inspecting himself. Anyone could tell he was a demon from afar with his current appearance, allowing him to move freely in the Devil Sky Immortal Realm. Ning Qi split a strand of his divine sense onto the heavenly talisman as he traveled. The heavenly talisman had become extremely important after the invasion of the demon race. No matter what happened, someone would post a message on the forum immediately, thus it became the best way for people to obtain information. However, someone once mentioned a hidden danger. If the demon race obtained the heavenly talisman, wouldn't they be able to learn the movements of the immortals from the forum? When the hidden danger was mentioned, some sensitive information on the forum, such as Langya Immortal Emperor's arrangements and troop arrangements, could no longer be found on the forum. Help! The Devil Sky Immortal Realm's Peach Blossom Planet has been discovered by the demon race. I'm the leader of the number 1 sacred ground on the Peach Blossom Planet, Kong Xian. After Ning Qi saw this title, he used his spiritual force to scan the entire post. The person who posted the thread was the leader of the number 1 sacred ground on the Peach Blossom Planet of the Devil Sky Immortal Realm. Her name was Kong Xian, and her cultivation base was at the peak of the primordial unity true Immortal Realm. She was a famous existence in the Immortal Realm, but she advocated staying aloof from worldly affairs, so she chose the Peach Blossom Planet, the place with the most number of mortals and the most beautiful scenery. She had established a sacred ground called the Peach Blossom Sacred Ground. It had been 7 or 8 ancient times since she traveled to the Immortal Realm. The disciples of the Peach Blossom Sacred Ground rarely left the Peach Blossom Planet. After the invasion of the demon race, the Peach Blossom Planet did not receive any news. Due to the fact that she was too aloof from worldly affairs, Kong Xian's friends had forgotten about her. No one informed her. When she came to her senses, the Devil Sky Immortal Realm had already been occupied by the demon race. After that, Kong Xian used her divine ability to hide the entire Peach Blossom Planet. There was only one reason why she could not leave. There were too many mortals on the Peach Blossom Planet. Feng Chen turbid wine. Senior Kong Xian, you should run away with your disciples. There's a demon king very close to your planet. Celadon. I didn't expect that even a senior at the peak of the primordial unity true Immortal Realm would post a thread asking for help. Is the Immortal Realm going to die? Tea never cools down when the person is gone. Don't be sarcastic, but Senior Kong Xian, I suggest you listen to the second poster and leave. Where there's life, there's hope. Mortals have to give up when it's time. There were tens of thousands of comments below. Most of them were advising Kong Xian to run away, but none of them intended to help her. It was because Kong Xian's position was too awkward. Since the demon race had already discovered her, It would not be long before the Demon King arrived. Who would dare to go? Kong Xian, thank you for your advice, but the Demon King is already here. Is Senior Kong Xian still there? Chapter 3005. Ningqi felt a little sad after reading the post. The leader of the Peach Blossom Sacred Ground was a perfected Tai True Celestial. Although the success rate of escaping the Devil Sky Celestial Realm was not 100%, it was at least 90% if he did not encounter the Demonic King. However, because she was too aloof from worldly affairs, she only discovered the invasion of the Devil race after the Devil Sky Mystic Realm was almost occupied. Perhaps those good friends of hers did not forget her. After all, who would forget a Tai perfected stage true immortal? The most likely reason was that Kong Xian didn't want to come out into the world and only stayed in her own territory, giving people a feeling of loneliness. As time passed, those good friends of hers naturally drifted apart, causing no one to be willing to take the initiative to send a message when the Devil race invaded. Unfortunately, the Demon King had already reached the Peach Blossom planet, and the situation could no longer be salvaged. With Ningqi's current cultivation, if he went all out and used all his trump cards, he believed that he could beat an early-stage Demon Lord. However, he was not sure if the Demon Monarch that had arrived at the Peach Blossom planet was an early-stage, mid-stage, or even late-stage Demon Monarch. Moreover, he had to return to the ancestral planet as soon as possible, so he did not plan to meddle in other people's business. Suddenly, a small team of Devil Race flew in front of them. The leader of the team exuded an aura that was almost the same as Ningqi's Devil Dao cultivation base. It was an early-stage Tai True Demon. Apart from this Tai True Demon, the cultivation of the rest of the team members was not low. They had all reached the profound demon realm. Their appearances were similar to humans, only some details, as well as the dense devil chi on their bodies, told others that they were demons. Which demon monarch are you working for? When they saw Ningqi, who had a long, meandering horn, a pair of wings, a sturdy body, and a slightly majestic devil chi, they all stopped. The leading Tai True Demon sized Ningqi up with a doubtful look, as if he had never seen a Devil Clan member like Ningqi before. Ningqi looked coldly at the other party. Just as he was about to attack and finish off this small team of devils, the other party spoke again. I am Qing Ku, a general under the command of Demon Monarch Soul Death. No matter which demon monarch you work for, come with me. A few demons have discovered a fresh planet hidden under our noses. It is said that there are hundreds of billions of humans on it. This time, I can eat to my heart's content. Ningqi's eyes moved slightly. Oh? Hundreds of billions of humans? I wonder what level of immortals there are on that planet? As a peak Tai True Immortal, her cultivation base is stronger than ours. However, she has Demon Monarch Soul to deal with, so it has nothing to do with us. Our main task is to clean up the mess. The Devilish Sky Immortal Realm is too big, and we didn't bring enough demons this time. Now that we've spread them out, Demon Monarch Soul only has 5 groups under his command. That planet is too big, and I'm afraid that someone might slip through the net. If you come with me, you'll definitely get a lot of benefits. Qing Ku smiled. Only 5. Ningqi's eyes flickered slightly. Does this mean that Demon Monarch only has 5 Tai True Demons and 500 mystical demons? In that case, the cultivation of the soulless Demon Monarch should not be too high. The planet that the other party was referring to was undoubtedly the Peach Blossom planet. Then, let's go. Ningqi smiled. Qing Ku's face revealed a trace of delight when he saw Ningqi agree. On their way to the Peach Blossom planet, Ningqi casually chatted with Qing Ku and secretly learned about the current situation in the Devilish Sky Immortal Realm. There were indeed a lot of demons that had descended into the Devilish Sky Immortal Realm, but they were all low-level demons. Their purpose was to occupy the planet. Meanwhile, the high-level demons were like mobile troops that were fighting back and forth on the planet. They would pounce on any newly discovered demon that had slipped through the net. For example, Demon Monarch Sol only had 3 million demons under his command, but there were only 5 teams like Qin Ku's. Currently, there were a total of 9 demon monarchs in the devilish sky immortal realm, led by a demon monarch. The demon monarch was Demon Monarch Hanbei, who had an extremely strong cultivation base. Demon Monarch Sol was the weakest among the 9 demon monarchs. He was only an early-stage demon monarch. I didn't expect Brother Xianbei to be a vagrant demon and have yet to submit to the demon monarch. Since we're fated, I'll be your referral and submit to the demon monarch Sol and become a general. In the future, when the Heaven Demon Lord integrates all the fragments of the demon land, it'll be the time for us to invade the entire immortal world. As generals, we'll be able to get at least 100 planets worth of resources. Qin Ku said with a smile. A trace of greed flashed in his eyes, as if he was imagining the scene of the demon race dominating the immortal world. Integrate all the fragments of the demon land? Ningqi was slightly stunned. Brother Xianbei, as a rogue cultivator of the devil race, you might not know this news. The heaven-destroying Devil Lord's strength is unparalleled. Even the Devil Emperor is an ant in his eyes. This time, the passage to the immortal world was opened by the heaven-destroying Devil Lord, allowing our devil race to see the light of day again. For the past few hundred years, we've been guarding the Devil Heaven immortal domain, waiting for the heaven-destroying Devil Lord. Once he succeeds, he'll descend to the immortal world and lead us to kill all the immortals. Qin Ku's eyes flashed with excitement. Ningqi smiled and didn't say anything, but he remembered the words, heaven-defeating demon master, in his heart. According to Qin Ku, he was either an ancient ancestor or an existence that had truly stepped into the third step. A few days later. We're here. Everyone passed through the atmosphere, and then an extremely beautiful scenery appeared in front of them. There was an endless lush mountain range, and the sun shone on the lake at the foot of the mountain, reflecting a dazzling silver light. Occasionally, a big fish would jump out of the lake, causing ripples. It seems that this is the Peach Blossom Planet. Ningqi's eyes moved. He could feel that the immortal spirit qi on the Peach Blossom Planet was very rich, but there was a faint trace of demon qi in the immortal spirit qi. Brother Xianbei, the demon monarch, asked us to head directly to the Peach Blossom Sacred Land after we arrive. Let's not delay here. Let's go. Qin Ku smiled. The Peach Blossom Sacred Land. The number 1 sacred land of the Peach Blossom Planet was also the residence of immortals in the eyes of all the mortals on the planet. Every year, countless mortals would come to the Peach Blossom Sacred Land in search of immortals. Today, the array that was originally used to prevent mortals from entering had been broken. The Peach Blossom Sacred Land, which was no longer shrouded in fog, was completely exposed to the air. The master of the Peach Blossom Sacred Land, Kong Xian, led a group of profound immortal elders, deacons of the Zenith Heaven, and golden immortal disciples of the Peach Blossom Sacred Land. There were about 1,000 people, and they stood in front of a handsome young man with light blue skin. The young man wore a black gauze robe, and his chest was not tied with a rope. Chapter 3006. Kong Xian, there are only so few disciples left in the Peach Blossom Sacred Land. If you do not agree to my request, I will kill them all. The young man said with a faint smile. The elders, deacons, and disciples behind Kong Xian all had a hint of anger in their eyes, as well as a hint of fear. The other party was simply too strong, so strong that even if all of them attacked together, they still wouldn't be a match for him. You want me to join you? That's impossible, Kong Xian said faintly. Although her appearance was not extremely beautiful, her facial features were very delicate. Looking closely, she was very charming. But now, there was an unhealthy blush on her face. It was the result of Kong Xian's heart meridian being damaged after she exchanged a blow with the soulless demon monarch when he first appeared. Why not? What was so bad about being a demon? Not long later, the heaven-destroying Devil Lord will personally descend upon this world, and at that time, it will be the doomsday of your celestial race. Only by becoming a member of the Devil race will you be able to keep your life. Soul Death Demon Monarch smiled. We also have the Heavenly Tao family, we aren't afraid of you demons. One of the Peach Blossom Holy Land's disciples finally could not hold it in anymore and shouted angrily at the Soul Death Demon Monarch. He had already thrown caution to the wind. In any case, he would not be able to escape death today. Ha ha! Tiandao family. What was the use of such a lowly family? During the Great War of Immortals and Devils, it was because our devil race was too careless. That's why the Heavenly Tao family took advantage of the situation when we were fighting against the ancient immortals. I heard the ancestors mention this matter. Although our devil race was defeated, the ancient immortal family was also taken advantage of by the heavens. The Tao clan was destroyed, right? In our devil race, we don't have this habit of attacking our own people. The Soul Death Demon Monarch showed a disdainful expression. Kong Xian's expression changed slightly. It wasn't just her, some of the other elders also had strange expressions on their faces. The Tiandao family had disappeared without a trace during the Devil Race's invasion, causing them to have some suspicions about what had happened. However, there were still some disciples from the Peach Spring Sacred Land who were filled with reverence for the Heavenly Tao family. One of them immediately retorted, "What nonsense! It was clearly the ancient immortal clan and your devil race who joined hands to bring you into the pass. That's why the Heavenly Tao family killed you too." Ha ha! It seems like you have been completely brainwashed. The ancient immortal clan allied with our devil race? This is the biggest joke I've ever heard in my life. If this gets back, many of my colleagues and friends will laugh until their stomachs hurt. The Soul Death Demon Monarch laughed out loud. Then, he gently pointed a finger, and a beam of demonic chi pierced the forehead of the Peach Blossom Sacred Land disciple like a sharp sword, causing him to die on the spot. Junior brother, senior brother, disciple. Many of them looked sad and angry, but no one dared to attack the Soul Death Demon Monarch. Kong Xian, I'll give you one last chance. I'll turn you into a devil, but you won't be reduced to a devil. How about you become my subordinate? The soulless demon monarch said calmly. I'm an immortal. Our paths are different, so we can't work together. Kong Xian looked at Soul Death Demon Monarch seriously. Let's fight it out with him. We'll die anyway. Yes, let's fight. One day, this group of devils will suffer retribution. The disciples of the Peach Blossom Sacred Land were extremely excited. At that moment, hundreds of figures flew over from the sky and landed beside the Soul Death Demon Monarch. Sir, this is Brother Xianbei. We met him on the way here. He hasn't joined any demon monarch yet. After Qing Ke landed, he first bowed before introducing Ning Qi to the Soul Death Demon Monarch. Kong Xian was already in despair when she saw that another batch of demons had arrived, including 2 Tai True demons and hundreds of mystical demons. The Soul Death Demon Monarch sized Ning Qi up and said calmly, "Which clan are you from? Your physical strength seems to be pretty good." "I don't know either." Ning Qi smiled and cupped his hands. "You haven't joined any demon monarch?" The Soul Death Demon Monarch said calmly. "No." Ning Qi smiled. "All right then. Go and kill her. You'll be my subordinate in the future. Although she's at the peak Tai True Immortal, her heart meridian has been damaged and her cultivation is less than 10%. If you can kill her, it proves that you're qualified to be my subordinate. If you can't..." The Soul Death Demon Monarch looked at Ning Qi with a faint smile. Although he did not finish his sentence, everyone knew what he meant. "Brother Xianbei, this is your chance. I can see that your aura is not weak. This woman is already seriously injured. As long as you put up a good fight, you'll be able to become a general under the demon monarch. Qin Ke transmitted his voice to Ningqi. Ningqi took a look at Kong Xian and a properties panel appeared in front of him. This was the master of the Peach Blossom Sanctuary, Kong Xian. Kong Xian was swept by Ningqi's eyes. For some reason, she suddenly felt a chill in her heart. This feeling was too strange. Logically speaking, Ningqi's current strength was only at the early stage Tai True Demon Monarch, which was much weaker than her. How could he have such a look? Could it be that there were also many powerful geniuses in the devil race? Kong Xian felt a little suffocated when she thought of this. The Peach Blossom Planet was doomed this time. She was ready to die with the Peach Blossom Planet. However, if the demon clan was too strong, she was worried that the immortal world would be occupied by the demon clan in the future. If so, she would not die in peace. Why? You don't dare? The demon monarch frowned slightly. The mystical demons brought by Qin Ke also looked at Ningqi with a hint of mockery. In the demon clan, being timid was a very big original sin. My lord, this Peach Blossom Planet is so big. Do we only have this many people? Ningqi suddenly asked a completely unrelated question. The demon monarch was stunned. How many people do you need? As long as the Peach Blossom Sanctuary is destroyed, you can eliminate the rest of the forces. When the time comes, all the mortals on this planet can be turned into demonic creatures with demon chi. A hint of impatience appeared on the demon monarch's face. If you don't dare to deal with this woman, then let Qin Ke do it. My lord, don't be anxious, Qin Ke hurriedly said. Then, he looked at Ningqi with a cold gaze. Brother Xianbei, what are you waiting for? If Ningqi was really as timid as a mouse, his recommendation this time was equivalent to flattering the demon monarch. Hence, a hint of anger rose in his heart. Oh, all right. Ningqi nodded and turned to look at Kong Xian. In the next moment, he opened the 9 inner hidden gates and his aura surged. Almost in an instant, his physical strength had reached the level of a perfected Tai True demon. The majestic demon chi in his body also overflowed from his body. Faint black smoke enveloped Ningqi. Everyone was shocked by Ningqi's sudden change. A hint of astonishment flashed in Qin Ke's eyes. He did not expect that a rogue demon clan cultivator he met on the way would be so powerful. He suddenly regretted introducing Ningqi to the demon monarch. Not bad. The demon monarch looked at Ningqi's back and nodded in satisfaction. Even if the sect master was at his peak, he would not be a match for such an existence. Chapter 3007. Boom. Caught off guard, the soul-leaving demon monarch was sent flying by Ningqi's backhand punch. The demon clan's body was strong to begin with, and they mainly focused on body refining. The demon monarch's body was unbelievably strong. However, after being punched by Ningqi, there was an obvious dent on the soul-leaving demon monarch's forehead. After sending the dead soul demon monarch flying, Ningqi did not stop. Instead, he flapped his wings and caught up with the dead soul demon monarch's speed. He punched the dead soul demon monarch's head again and again. Ningqi did not hit other parts of his body. If he wanted to hit, he would only hit the vital parts. Boom, boom, boom. Every punch was like rolling thunder, emitting a deafening sound. What's going on? Qin Ke finally reacted and looked at Ningqi in disbelief. Had this guy gone mad? Otherwise, why did he attack the dead soul demon monarch instead of Kong Xian? Most importantly, the dead soul demon monarch was unable to react in time and was hit by countless punches. Brother Xianbei, you've hit the wrong person. Qin Ke roared furiously. The hundreds of mystical demons behind him were dumbfounded. That's who I'm hitting, Ningqi said without turning his head. Just how terrifying was his basic mortal body? It had been tempered by the boundless demonic energy of the heart of the demon ancestor, and then he had absorbed the soup that Zhu Ganglai used to restore his cultivation. He had also opened the 9 inner hidden gates. The strength of his punch was enough to threaten an early demon monarch existence. Otherwise, the dead soul demon monarch would not have been at a complete disadvantage after being punched. He did not even have a chance to fight back, and his head was almost smashed to a pulp. General Qin Ku, could he be an immortal? A mystical demon murmured to himself. Impossible. The demon chi on him is so obvious. How could he be an immortal? He must have concealed his cultivation base. But even if he is a perfected primordial unity true devil, how could he possess such formidable power? I've seen the demon monarch stand still and let 10 perfected primordial unity true devils besiege him. Without any defensive means, they can't even hurt a hair of the dead soul demon monarch. Qin Ku said in disbelief. Could he be an enemy of the dead soul demon monarch? A mystical demon whispered. Possibly, Qin Ku nodded slowly. He could not intervene in such a battle. Otherwise, be it Ning Qi's fists or the soulless demon monarch's legs, he would be crushed on the spot given his physical strength. He could only stand where he was and watch the soulless demon monarch being suppressed by Ning Qi. Master, what's going on? The elders of the Peach Blossom Sacred Land watched this scene in shock. No matter how hard they racked their brains, they could not figure out what had caused these 2 demons to suddenly fight each other. Most importantly, the demon monarch was actually suppressed by a Tai true demon, to the point where it didn't even have a chance to retaliate. I don't know either. Kong Xian shook her head solemnly. After a pause, he continued, perhaps our Peach Blossom planet can still be saved. The Peach Blossom planet could still be saved? When the Peach Blossom Holy Lands people heard this, hope suddenly appeared in their eyes. Roar. The soulless demon monarch suddenly let out an angry roar, and his body suddenly enlarged. In an instant, he became a mountain of flesh that was hundreds of zhang tall. At this moment, a majestic force surged out from the soulless demon monarch's body, and Ning Qi was pushed back hundreds of zhang. The mountain of flesh squirmed continuously, and then a face that was identical to the one he had when he was in his human form appeared. Who exactly are you? The soulless demon monarch looked at Ning Qi with fear. As expected of a demon monarch. Your bones are really tough. The corners of Ning Qi's mouth curled up slightly. His fist hurt a little, but he was unable to break the soulless demon monarch's skull. If it was an early-stage immortal lord from the celestial race, being beaten up by Ning Qi at such a close distance, his physical body would have long been destroyed, and only his divine soul would be left. You don't dare to tell me who you are. Fine, your strength has indeed exceeded my expectations. If I didn't transform into my original form, I really wouldn't be a match for you. However, a demon monarch is still a demon monarch. A mere Tai true demon monarch can't. What's going on? The soulless demon monarch's eyes revealed a trace of astonishment, and he could not continue his sentence. This was because Ning Qi's physical body had undergone a tremendous change in the blink of an eye. He had transformed into a terrifying giant ape that was much taller than the soulless demon monarch. His back was covered with barbs, and the winding horns on his head were still preserved. The wings on his back were also preserved. The soulless demon monarch was not frightened by Ning Qi's new form, but by the aura that Ning Qi exuded after transforming into this form. The 8-9 Arcane Arts second-level transformation technique could greatly enhance Ning Qi's physical strength. As such, after his basic strength was greatly enhanced, and with the addition of the 9 inner hidden gates, it could be said that this form represented Ning Qi's true combat strength. As for the horns and wings, Ning Qi had only preserved them to fool others. Let's fight. Let me see just how strong the demon monarch is. Ning Qi let out a voice that sounded like a great bell, and with a swoosh, he rushed toward the soulless demon monarch. The soulless demon monarch, who had transformed into his true form, was once again suppressed by Ning Qi. His physical strength was ultimately weaker than Ning Qi's. The earth shook. The mountains shattered. The soulless demon monarch let out a humiliating roar, but Ning Qi's fists kept punching him back. In less than 10 minutes, the soulless demon monarch no longer made a sound, and his aura was being obliterated by Ning Qi's fists. Qing Ku and the other demons were dumbfounded as they watched this scene. Kong Xian and the other immortals were also shocked by Ning Qi's incomparably powerful means. At the same time, many people felt that Ning Qi's current form was extremely familiar. He looks like that senior great demon ape? A disciple of the Peach Blossom Holy Land exclaimed. What? Senior great demon ape? Take a closer look. He does look like him, but senior great demon ape doesn't have wings or horns. Furthermore, with senior great monster ape's strength, he could easily kill an immortal emperor. How could he take so long to defeat a demon monarch? Didn't people say that senior great monster ape had the demon ancestor's heart in his hand when I watched that battle? I heard that it was the heart left behind by the demon ancestor, the top expert of the demons during the great war of immortals and demons. Now, this person is surging with demonic qi, and he's attacking a demon monarch who is also a demon. Maybe it might really be senior great demon ape. Xianbei Beixian. Could it really be him? Kong Xian's gaze toward Ning Qi changed dramatically. Anyone who paid attention would be able to figure out who the great demon ape was by connecting the dots. There were also many immortals who supported this theory, but there were also many immortals who thought that the great demon ape and Ning Beixian had nothing to do with each other. Just now, when Kong Xian heard Qing Ku address Ning Qi as Xianbei, she thought a little and almost knew Ning Qi's identity. Die. Chapter 3008. The demonic lord is dead? A mystical demon stared blankly at this scene and turned to look at Qing Ku in disbelief. I saw it. You don't have to repeat it. Qing Ku's skin was originally green, but now it was pale. The people at the Peach Blossom Sacred Land grew nervous again. The soulless demon lord had been killed by this terrifying existence. Whether he lived or died depended on that existence's attitude. I have enough contribution points. Ning Qi's eyes flickered. After killing the soulless demon lord, his contribution points had broken through the 10 million mark. He had enough to derive the 4-spirit sacred art. Whoosh! He flapped his wings. Ning Qi landed in front of the crowd again. You killed the soulless demon lord. The Hanbei demon emperor will never let you off. No matter what background you have in the demonic continent, you will die without a doubt. Qing Ku glared at Ning Qi and gnashed his teeth. This time, he had brought Ning Qi with him to the Peach Blossom planet, but he had caused the death of demon monarch Death Soul. If word of this got out, he would suffer the same treatment as Ning Qi. He would be captured and brought to the demon emperor to explain himself. Pausing for a moment, Qing Ku continued, How about this? You come with me to see the Hanbei demon emperor. I will report everything that happened today to him without any exaggerations. If you have a good reason to kill the soul death demon monarch, the Hanbei demon emperor will spare your life. You mean, the Hanbei demon emperor will spare an immortal like me? Ning Qi looked at Qing Ku with a smile. The demonic qi on his body dissipated, and his body quickly reverted to human form. However, he had disguised himself and did not change back to his original appearance. Boundless immortal qi swept out from Ning Qi's body. In almost an instant, the mystical demons behind Qing Ku were all killed by this immortal qi. They were pulverized. I'm immortal tribe? Qing Ku stared at Ning Qi with his mouth agape. He found it hard to believe. Ning Qi was just a pure devil, and the devil qi on his body was much more terrifying than his. But in the blink of an eye, how did he turn into an immortal? What was going on? It's our immortal tribe senior. The immortals of the Peach Blossom Sacred Land looked at Ning Qi in shock. Then, their eyes lit up with ecstasy and they heaved a long sigh of relief. As expected, Kong Xian's expression changed slightly, and a hint of a smile appeared in her eyes. No matter what, the Peach Blossom Planet had been saved today. Whoosh! Qin Ku suddenly flew up and fled towards the Peach Blossom Planet. Previously, he dared to stay where he was because he believed that Ning Qi would not kill them. He thought that Ning Qi had some kind of grudge with the Soul Morning Demon Monarch. But now that he discovered that Ning Qi was actually an immortal in disguise, he would be a fool not to run. Let's just stay on the Devil Continent. If you don't offend me, I won't offend you. Isn't that good? Ning Qi's voice suddenly sounded in Qin Ku's ears. No, bang! Qin Ku's corpse landed heavily on the ground, creating a mushroom cloud. At this point, all the demons that had invaded the Peach Blossom Planet were dead. It won't be long before the demons react. What are your plans? Ning Qi moved and landed in front of Kong Xian. Thank you for saving my life, Senior. Everyone hurriedly bowed and expressed their gratitude. Then, they looked at Kong Xian hesitantly. As long as Kong Xian nodded, they could leave the Peach Blossom Planet at any time. However, the mortals on the Peach Blossom Planet were probably going to suffer a calamity. You take them and leave. Kong Xian glanced at the remaining disciples behind her, then smiled at Ning Qi. Sect leader, if you don't leave, we won't leave either. We swear to live and die with the Peach Blossom Planet. Many elders and disciples revealed determined expressions, but there were still some who wished they could immediately agree and follow Ning Qi to leave this troublesome place and flee far away. They really didn't want to fight with the devil race anymore. The devil race's methods were tragic and vicious, and ordinary people couldn't imagine it. You can't protect those mortals. Ning Qi sighed. Although Kong Xian's behavior was very pedantic, as a woman, she was able to ignore life and death. With her cultivation at the peak of the primordial unity genuine celestial, she was willing to live and die with the mortals on the Peach Blossom Planet. This could only mean that she had some kind of determination in her heart. This was something that most immortals could not do. Most immortals with a little bit of cultivation would value their own lives more than anything else. I'll try my best. Kong Xian smiled at Ning Qi. Fine, take your disciples and follow me. I have a way to move the Peach Blossom Planet. Ning Qi seemed to have made a decision. He had never tried to remove the surface of the entire planet and put it into the creation realm. He might as well give it a try today. What? Kong Xian was slightly stunned. Then, a hint of surprise flashed in her eyes. Are you serious? Try it. Do you have any other way? Ning Qi smiled. Thank you, Brother Ning. Kong Xian suddenly cupped her hands and said, Brother Ning? Ning Qi smiled and did not refute. Since she already had her own guess, it was useless for him to refute her. Brother Ning's method is too miraculous. I didn't expect you to have such a portable grotto heaven on you. Kong Xian and Ning Qi stood side by side in the void, looking down. The entire Peach Blossom Planet had become barren, because Ning Qi had practically skinned the entire planet and put it all into his good fortune domain. This process would naturally cause some casualties and unrest. That was why the immortals of the Peach Blossom Sacred Land had voluntarily entered Ning Qi's creation realm. On the one hand, they could comfort and save the mortals, and on the other, they could narrow down the target for the demons. Fellow Taoist Kong Xian, aren't you going in? Ning Qi smiled. He did not explain the origin of the creation realm. Since Kong Xian thought it was a portable grotto heaven, Ning Qi was naturally happy to let it go. In fact, in the eyes of many, the creation realm could be considered a grotto heaven. But unlike a grotto heaven, Ning Qi could do whatever he wanted in the creation realm, just like the creator of the world. Many times, Ning Qi would even have certain thoughts in his mind. For example, was the immortal realm he was in now a kind of creation realm? And the heavenly Tao was like him, able to do whatever he wanted. Move mountains and drain seas? Then I'll have to trouble you, fellow Taoist Ning. Kong Xian nodded with a smile. In the next moment, her figure flashed and she was taken into Ning Qi's creation realm. After doing all this, Ning Qi specially found Jiang Yu and suppressed him under the most remote mountain in the creation realm to prevent Jiang Yu from coming into contact with Kong Xian and the others. At the same time, he also seized Zhu Gonglia's good and evil thoughts and became Jiang Yu's neighbor. Chapter 3009. About 10 days after Ning Qi left the Peach Blossom planet, another team of demons arrived. The leader of the team was a middle-stage Tai True demon with a higher cultivation than Ning Qi. What happened? The leader of the demons was shocked as he looked at the barren Peach Blossom planet. He had rushed here after receiving a message from the dead soul demon monarch. How did this place become like this? Where was the dead soul demon monarch? Sir, this is not what we did, a mysterious demon said with a solemn expression. Indeed. The leader of the devils nodded. Their methods were usually to infect mortals with demonic qi, demonizing them and turning them into devils. They had never heard of any devils who would skin an entire planet. What was this? Where did all the mortals go? Just as they were feeling puzzled, a cloud of black smoke suddenly rose from the Peach Blossom planet, accompanied by an angry roar filled with hatred. The demons present were shocked when they heard the roar, because it was the voice of the dead soul demon monarch. Black smoke gathered in midair. Soon, when the black smoke dispersed, a figure appeared in the sky. This figure was the dead soul demon monarch who was killed by Ning Qi. However, his current size was about half of his previous size, and his aura had dropped to the perfect stage Tai True demon monarch. He was no longer a demon monarch. Demon monarch? The leader of the middle stage Tai True demon monarchs looked at the dead soul demon monarch in shock. He suddenly recalled that this was the special divine ability of the dead soul demon monarch's clan, Rebirth. The clan that the soul mourning demon monarch belonged to was born with an innate mystique. However, this mystique was not very useful at the beginning. It could only speed up the recovery process when one was injured. Only when one broke through to the demon monarch realm would it become a terrifying mystique, and that was rebirth. No matter who killed them, no matter how they were killed, they would be reborn once. After rebirth, their cultivation would drop by a realm. Lord Demon Monarch, what happened? How did you? The middle stage Tai True Demon Monarch was shocked. He could not imagine what kind of opponent the dead soul demon monarch had encountered to be killed by him. Send a message to the other 8 demon monarchs. Tell them that there is a spy among the demons. Soul Death Demon Monarch gnashed his teeth. During his rebirth, the soul-killing demon monarch only had the memory before his death, so he did not know what happened after that. He still thought that Ning Qi was indeed a demon. As for whether he was a spy or not, he couldn't care less. Attacking him for no reason, if he wasn't a spy, then what was? What? Spy? The leader of the devils found it hard to believe. I'm afraid they were sent by those few existences who are not on good terms with heaven-destroying Devil Lord. Seeing that my cultivation has dropped, you don't want to listen to me anymore? Hurry up and send the message. Soul Death Demon Monarch said coldly. Yes. The demon leader's expression changed slightly before he replied respectfully. In reality, he did not respect the soulless demon monarch as much anymore. After all, he was no longer a demon monarch. No matter who you are, I will find you. Damn it. Soul Death Demon Monarch let out a pained roar. It had taken him so many years to become a demon monarch, but he did not expect to be killed before he could advance to the mid-stage. Otherwise, he would have been able to maintain his cultivation as a demon monarch. Now that he had reverted to a primordial unity, it would be extremely difficult for him to recover his cultivation. Through the Fiend Race's special communication channel, the other 8 Fiend Monarchs in the Devil Sky Immortal Realm received the news. However, when they heard that soulless fiend monarch had been killed and his cultivation base had fallen to the level of primordial immortal, they all put on a look of schadenfreude. As for the spy, since they were all demons, and they might have been sent by heaven-destroying Devil Lord's enemies, they naturally did not want to get themselves into trouble. Therefore, they only sent some demons away and randomly searched for the spy as a show. On the All Heavens Forum, many people were asking about the situation on Peach Blossom Planet. However, Kong Xian did not reply, so everyone assumed that Peach Blossom Planet had been destroyed. This was also because Kong Xian was the only one who possessed the All Heavens Talisman in the entire Peach Blossom Planet. Otherwise, the news of Ning Qi's attack would have spread across the entire immortal realm. They had crossed the line. Then, like a small splash, the incident melted into the water. New posts popped up one after another. Basically, 8 out of 10 posts were related to the demons. While Ning Qi was on his way to the Ancestral Star, he would glance at the All Heavens Forum from time to time in order to receive news about the demons as soon as possible. Along the way, he encountered many demons, but the strongest among them was only a mystical demon. He also encountered demons sent by the other 8 demon monarchs to search for spies. However, Ning Qi's appearance had already changed. He looked similar to a human, except that his body was shrouded in a majestic demon qi. Because of this, these fellows could not wait to retreat when they saw Ning Qi. None of them dared to look for trouble with him. Therefore, Ning Qi successfully arrived at the border of the demonic sky immortal realm. Soon, he would be able to leave the demonic sky immortal realm. As for the teleportation formation, it had long been destroyed by the demons to prevent the immortals from launching a sneak attack. The border of the demonic sky immortal realm was closely connected to the ancient heavenly court immortal realm. During the previous great war of the immortals and demons, the demons had entered the immortal realm through this border, which was why the Heavenly Tao clan had framed the ancient immortals and demons for allowing them to enter the immortal world. At this moment, the border was filled with the flames of war. Immortals and demons were fighting each other on almost every planet. However, both sides had a tacit understanding that even if the immortals won, they would not venture deep into the demonic sky immortal realm. On the other hand, if the demons won, they would not enter the ancient heavenly court immortal realm. All in all, it seemed like the two sides were testing each other. It was just a small skirmish. The only difference was that the demons had a strict order. Every skirmish would be led by a regular army. On the other hand, the immortals did not have much order. Most of them came to the border of the ancient heavenly court immortal realm in small groups to resist the demons. As for the regular army that belonged to the Langya immortal emperor, they were only stationed in the ancient heavenly court immortal realm. Lord! Suddenly, several heavily injured devils flew over. When they sensed the enormous devil chi on Ning Qi's body, they approached him in pleasant surprise. "What's wrong?" Ning Qi asked calmly. "We are the subordinates of the Blood Pool Demon Monarch, General Feng Qi. General Feng Qi is currently being besieged by the immortals. Please lend us a hand, Lord." The few demons looked at Ning Qi cautiously and said, "Oh, where is it? Bring me there." Chapter 30:10. Damn it, these demon bastards are so hard to deal with. Quiet, don't let them notice us. In our current state, we'll easily be demonized if we're surrounded. Dear, I'm sorry. Why are you saying that? Duan Feifei punched Duan Ingjuan's chest. Duan Ingjuan's body had turned fat again without anyone noticing, and when he stood next to Duan Feifei, it was like a contrast between a beauty and a beast. However, his body was different from before. There seemed to be some sort of aura within it, and his body's strength would skyrocket if he absorbed it. "Come out!" A furious roar came from outside, and Duan Ingjun immediately pulled Duan Feifei away from the cave they were hiding in. Boom! The cave instantly collapsed. 5 demons in black armor stood outside, staring coldly at Duan Ingjun and his wife. He, a grand Luo and a golden immortal. Why did you immortals send a bunch of rabble? One of the demons laughed coldly, speaking in the common language of the immortal realm. From that, it could be seen that the demons had never died in their invasion of the immortal realm. Ingjun, you're just a golden immortal. You leave first, I can hold them off for a while. Duan Feifei said decisively, staring straight at the 5 demons. Duan Ingjuan's expression changed slightly. No, we'll leave together. My cultivation may not be as high as yours, but my skin is thick, so I'm still useful. They had gone out to travel not long after they arrived at the homeworld, and they had encountered many miraculous encounters over the past 700 to 800 years. Duan Feifei's luck seemed to be much better than his, and she had broken through from human immortal to early-stage Grand Luo Golden Immortal, while Duan Ingjun was stuck at Golden Immortal full-fledged, unable to attain Dao fruit. You guys sure are loyal. How about this? I'll demonize you all and make you my little pet. It's better than dying. Boom. As soon as the demon finished speaking, a palm print descended from the skies, directly crushing the 5 Grand Luo immortal demons into mincemeat. Then, a graceful figure appeared in front of the 2 of them. A dream master? Duan Ingjun and Duan Feifei were pleasantly surprised when they saw the person. I heard you were here, so I hurried over. Meng Qingling smiled. When she was in the Cloud Rising sect, she was Ning Qi's master. Therefore, everyone in the War God Hall called Meng Qingling a Dream Master. Dream Master, after so many years, you are already a Xian immortal? When Duan Ingjun sensed Meng Qingling's aura, he was a little surprised. He and Duan Feifei had encountered countless opportunities to grow to this stage in just a few hundred years. Just what kind of opportunity did Meng Qingling encounter? How could her cultivation be so much higher than theirs? I was just lucky. Meng Qingling smiled as a trace of lingering fear flashed across her eyes. She was indeed lucky. Otherwise, not to mention her Xian immortal cultivation, she would have died a long time ago. The celestial realm was much more dangerous than the central continent. What about them? Where is it? Meng Qingling's tone changed. They're scattered all over this Big Dipper. We've only just arrived, so we haven't had the time to gather yet. Duan Ingjun said. More demons have come. Let's go find them first. Meng Qingling suddenly raised her eyes and looked into the distance. Junior sister, you guys run first. There are more and more demons. If you don't leave now, it'll be too late. A group of immortals with cultivation ranging from early-stage Sky Immortal to full-circle Sky Immortal was fighting with many demons in a canyon. But as time passed, more and more devils appeared, while their numbers decreased. At the beginning, there were more than 300 people, but now there were only 80 people left. Those devils seemed to be playing a game of cat and mouse, and were slowly and ferociously devouring them. Don't even think about escaping. Since you've come to the Big Dipper, stay here. A demon broke through the air and stood in the void, looking down at the immortals below with a mocking gaze. Sir. The demons who were attacking stopped and cupped their hands at the demon. They were just sky demons, but this demon was a mystical demon, the personal guard of General Feng Qi. It's over. Seeing how the surrounding demons treated this newcomer so respectfully, it was obvious that he must be very powerful. The immortals down below all fell into despair. At this moment, 4 figures suddenly rushed out from the void. Their target was the mystical demon. How dare you? The mystical demon's eyes flashed with a trace of anger. He didn't expect there to be an ambush here. How dare you ambush me? You're courting death. He let out a furious roar, and an endless torrent of demon flames swept out from his body, attacking the 4 people. Boom! In almost an instant, his technique was destroyed. The 4 attacks landed on him simultaneously. A dignified mystical demon expert was smashed into pieces just like that. Fear flashed in the eyes of the demons below when they saw this. Even the mystical demon was no match for the four, not to mention the small fries like them. They fled in all directions immediately. Trying to escape? A cold light flashed in Deguzi's eyes. He was dressed in a black robe and looked very cold. With a thought, the celestial chi in his body swept out and turned into a sky full of swords, killing the group of devil clan members on the spot. Thank you for saving my life, seniors. May I ask for your names? The immortals below cupped their hands at Deguzi and the others when they saw that a catastrophe had been resolved in an instant. My name is Nyo Dezhuang. He's Deguzi. This is our war god temple's temple master, Dongfang Haojie, and his wife, Dongfang Yuluo. A burly man who could probably disguise himself as a demon if he had two horns said in a low, muffled voice. So it's seniors from the War God Temple. The group of immortals was pleasantly surprised. On the Big Dipper, there were many small groups that fought against the demons. Among them, the War God Temple was a mysterious sect that no one had ever heard of. It was extremely famous on the Big Dipper because it only had a few dozen people at most, but the War God of the Big Dipper was countless. However, there were countless War God Temple disciples. Even some of the nearby planets had traces of War God Temple disciples. It was extremely rare for an entire sect to come forward to fight against the demons. Therefore, the War God Temple's name was extremely famous during this period of time. Go to the station quickly. There are more and more demons on the Big Dipper. Dongfang Yuluo said to the immortals below. Yes. They quickly nodded and flew toward the immortals station on the Big Dipper. Injun sent me a message saying that he and his wife are with a dream master. Dongfang Haojie took out the all-heaven talisman and glanced at it, then smiled at the three of them. Chapter 30:11. Through the connection of the all-heaven talisman, Dongfang Haojie and the other three soon met up with Meng Qingling and the others. When Duan Ingjun discovered that the four of them had also broken through to the Xian immortal realm, he suddenly felt that the fortuitous encounter that he and his wife were so proud of was not worth mentioning in front of Dongfang Haojie and the others. Ingjun, don't worry. We'll protect you on this Big Dipper. Nyo Dezhuang patted Duan Ingjun's shoulder in a muffled voice. Duan Ingjun grimaced in pain and gasped. I'm sorry I forgot to hold back. Nyo Dezhuang scratched his head with a silly smile. Even the physical body that I am so proud of is so vulnerable in front of him. Duan Ingjun looked at Nyo Dezhuang in despair. He thought that after absorbing the energy in his body, he would be able to surprise everyone when he returned to the ancestral star, but Nyo Dezhuang was already ahead of him. How many people from our War God Temple are in the nearby star fields? Meng Qingling looked at Dongfang Haojie and asked. After pondering for a moment, Dongfang Haojie said, Most of the elders are here, but they are distributed to the other 10 or so planets to help resist the demon race. As for the disciples below, including the Wang family and the Blood Puppet clan, I'm afraid there are more than 1 million of them. Millions, Meng Qingling frowned slightly. If something happens, wouldn't our War God Temple's foundation be completely destroyed? Don't worry, Dream Master. The Real Foundation is in the ancestral star. Furthermore, I believe that the disciples of the Battle God Hall are all elite. After going through the battles with the demon race and the tempering of blood and fire, not only will it be beneficial for one's cultivation level, it will also be of great help to one's future improvement. I only broke through after fighting here for over 200 years. He broke through to the early Xian immortal stage. Dongfang Haojie smiled. That person should be here, right? Meng Qingling suddenly changed the topic. Dream Master, are you talking about Junior Brother? Junior Brother is not in the Big Dipper planet now. I have no idea where he went. He might have gone deep into the demonic sky immortal domain to kill those demons. Nyo Dezhuang laughed. This is Goku's bad point. He likes to run around. Dongfang Haojie sighed. Apart from Ningqi, almost no one could control this monkey. He often brought his little brother to the Devil Sky immortal domain to stir up trouble. Sometimes, Ningqi was really afraid that Wukong would draw out Hanbei Demon Emperor. Just as everyone was talking, another loud sound came from afar. Everyone subconsciously turned to look in that direction. Dongfang Haojie said with a smile, Yu and Ling are working together with Reverend Jiao to attack General Feng Qi, who is under the command of the Blood Pool Demon Monarch. It seems that they are about to win. These two little fellows are the youngest, but their talents are the strongest. When the two of them join forces, their strength is already comparable to an early-stage primordial unity true immortal. Dongfang Yulua sighed. A trace of a smile appeared in Deguzi's eyes. He was somewhat proud in his heart. After all, little Yu was his biological sister. For his sister to be able to achieve what she had today, as her brother, how could he not be happy? Let's go and watch the battle, Dongfang Haojie said with a smile. Everyone immediately rushed toward the source of the loud sound. After a short while, they saw a huge flood dragon fighting with a lion-like creature. At the same time, there were two petite figures working together to attack the lion from time to time. This lion was the main force of the attack on Big Dipper, General Feng Qi. There were many immortals and demons watching the battle nearby. They tacitly did not attack, as it was meaningless to attack. If Reverend Jiao's side won, the immortals would naturally win. If General Feng Qi's side won, the demons would naturally win. Grandsirs, I can't hold on any longer. Reverend Jiao suddenly transformed back into his human form and returned to the two women's side while panting. His bald head was covered in dense beads of sweat. General Feng Qi was a mid-stage primordial unity true demon. Although Reverend Jiao's cultivation had improved over the years and he had broken through to become a mid-stage primordial unity true immortal, his cultivation was still much weaker than General Feng Qi's. Baldy, hold on a little longer. We'll gather our strength. We'll accumulate power, little Yu said. I'll fight you to the death. Reverend Jiao roared angrily. He transformed back into a huge flood dragon and attacked General Feng Qi. You're courting death. General Feng Qi also roared angrily. However, he would occasionally look at little Yu and Zhuo Ling. He felt that there was something wrong with these two girls, who were only in the late-stage Xian immortal stage. Yin and Yang reversal. Little Yu and Zhuo Ling held hands as a terrifying power of the Great Tao suddenly surged out from their bodies. The aura of the power of the Great Tao instantly caused the entire sky to darken. Be it the immortal race or the demon race below, all of them could not help but cast their gazes towards the two girls. Rumble! A black and white Tai Chi diagram, formed by the Great Path Power, suddenly appeared above General Feng Qi's head. When Reverend Jiao saw this, he let out a long sigh of relief. This is, General Feng Qi looked up in shock, only to see that the Taiji symbol had already descended, covering his head. Boom! A loud sound was heard. The Tai Chi diagram fell to the ground. Reverend Jiao managed to escape the attack range of the Tai Chi diagram in time and looked nervously at where the Tai Chi diagram was. Shortly after, the Tai Chi diagram gradually dissipated, and a meat patty appeared on the ground. It was General Feng Qi's body after he was killed. When the rest of the demons saw this, they soared into the sky and planned to leave. However, some immortals were already prepared and immediately chased after them to beat them up. Little Yu and Ling are already this strong? Duan Yingjun was dumbfounded. The corners of Deguzi's mouth rose slightly, and his eyes revealed a trace of gratification. A mid-stage primordial unity true demon was crushed into a meat patty by the two women just like that. All the immortals present couldn't help but look at the two women with reverent gazes. Many of their gazes were filled with adoration. After using this move, the two women's faces were a bit pale. It seemed that they had used too much strength. Although a general died, the Bloodpool Demon Monarch still has many generals under him. I'm afraid that the Big Dipper will become their main target. Reverend Jiao's expression was somewhat grave. Don't worry. Only your body can contend against a primordial unity true demon. As long as you can buy us time every time, we won't be afraid no matter how many generals come. Little Yuer smiled. Chapter 30:12. The immortals stopped in time, turned around, and flew back to the Big Dipper star. As for the demons who were fleeing in all directions, their faces lit up with ecstasy when they saw the 20 grand unity true demons. Lords, please avenge my lord. One of the Tai true demons glanced around and smiled disdainfully. Feng Qi was arrogant and didn't want to be friends with us. I didn't expect him to die here. How unfortunate. You are Feng Qi's subordinates. Now that he's dead, do you still want to live? Lord Blood God? The demons who were lucky enough to escape were shocked. The next moment, the Tai True demon gently waved his hand, and the Devil Qi engulfed them. With a series of miserable screams, the group of Devil Clan members were devoured, and the aura of the Tai True demon was obviously stronger. The rest of the Tai True demons looked at him with a hint of fear in their eyes. Although they disapproved of his actions, they did not dare to show it on their faces. This was because he was called Blood God and was the 5th son of the Blood Pool Demon Monarch. He had the same talent as the Blood Pool Demon Monarch, which was devouring. No matter what it was, he could devour it perfectly and use it to strengthen himself. That was why the Blood Pool Demon Monarch had occupied the demonic sky immortal realm. He was the strongest among the great demon monarchs. Venerable Jiao, Little Yurzwa Ling Donfang Haojia, and all the immortals looked serious when they saw what the Tai True demon had done. This guy was going to devour even his own people. He was probably an extremely difficult existence to deal with. Moreover, there were more than 20 Tai True demons following him. No matter how one looked at it, the immortals on the Big Dipper seemed to be in danger. What happened to the demon clan? Why did they send more than 20 Tai True demons at once? Are they planning to invade the ancient heavenly court immortal realm? All of the immortals had questions in their minds. The great war of the immortals and demons had lasted for hundreds of years. Most of the battles took place at the border between the ancient heavenly court immortal realm and the demonic sky immortal realm. Occasionally, some demons would enter the ancient heavenly court immortal realm, but some immortals would also enter the demonic sky immortal realm. Over the past few hundred years, the Celestial Clan had suffered many losses. After all, this was the main battlefield, and the Devil Clan had no qualms in attacking. They would either kill or demonize mortals. But on the whole, both sides had maintained a similar level of strength. Now, more than 20 Tai True devils had gathered together. What happened on the planet had never happened before. I want these 2 young ladies from the immortal race. They're not bad to be servants after demonizing. They're only at the late stage of the Xian immortal realm, but they were actually able to suppress Feng Qi to death. Ha ha ha, after a period of careful taming, they should be of great help. The Blood God looked at Little Yuer Anzua Ling greedily. He stuck out his snake-like tongue and licked his lips. Little Yuer Anzua Ling expressions changed slightly. Many immortals below had a strange look in their eyes when they heard Blood God's words. According to what he said, this group of people had arrived long ago. They just watched as their clansmen were killed by the 2 women and didn't do anything? My lord, this is the place. Where's General Feng Qi? A few figures broke through the air and arrived. The few demons who led the way looked down in shock, but they didn't see General Feng Qi. Then, they saw Blood God and other Tai True demons. A trace of horror flashed in their eyes, but soon, their worries turned to joy. Seniors, are you here to support General Feng Qi? We are. Your General Feng Qi is dead. Blood God's son smiled. What? How did General Feng Qi die? Those few fiends were taken aback. Logically speaking, it was impossible for General Feng Qi to die in this short period of time. What exactly happened? So, you guys can die too. Blood God's lips curled. The dense devil chi swept over and directly engulfed those few devils. Immediately after, the devil chi spread towards Ning Qi. Blood God, this person isn't Feng Qi's subordinate. He's also a Tai True demon. A few Tai True demons hurriedly transmitted their voices to Blood God. Blood God's expression didn't change, and he completely ignored them. He hadn't seen Ning Qi before and guessed that Ning Qi might be a general under another demon lord. But so what? Today's opportunity was perfect. Ning Qi had an early-stage Tai True demon aura on him. After devouring such an existence, it would bring great benefits to his cultivation. If anyone asked, he could just say that he died in the hands of the immortal race. All the Tai True demons here were his father's subordinate. Sell him? Ning Qi ignored Blood God's demonic qi and looked towards Little Yu and the rest. When he saw that Dongfang Haojie and the rest's cultivation had improved by leaps and bounds, even Duan Yingjun, who was the weakest among them, was now a perfected golden immortal, his eyes flashed with a trace of gratification. At the same time, Blood God's demonic aura enveloped Ning Qi. This demonic aura was like a demon that kept biting Ning Qi's skin and flesh, wanting to devour him. However, it couldn't bite through at all, and sparks flew. What's going on? Blood God's eyes moved slightly and finally looked straight at Ning Qi. The other Tai True demons also noticed that something was wrong. Logically speaking, the other party should be fiercely resisting Blood God's innate ability. However, the movement within the demonic qi was very strange. The other party didn't seem to be moving at all, but it also emitted dazzling sparks. It seemed that Blood God's demonic qi was completely blocked by the other party's physical body. This shocked all the demons. Blood God had the bloodline of the Blood Pool demon lord flowing in his body. His demonic qi was also different from ordinary demons. It had the attribute of devouring. Although his cultivation was only at the mid-stage Tai True demon realm, even a late-stage Tai True demon realm demon's physical body couldn't resist Blood God's demonic qi. In their eyes, Ning Qi was only an early-stage Tai True demon realm demon. How could he resist the demonic qi that even they didn't have the confidence to resist? Interesting. Devour. Blood God's eyes flashed with a trace of coldness. The next moment, a surging demonic qi swept out from his body and turned into a giant mouth that could devour the sky. It swallowed Ning Qi from top to bottom. The demonic qi was so mighty that it almost dyed the sky black. However, Chapter 30:13. Whoosh. The terrifying demonic energy released by Blood God seemed to be absorbed by a black hole and started to disappear. Swallow it! Blood God suddenly let out a low roar. Waves of majestic devil qi swept out from his body and suppressed Ning Qi. However, no matter how much demonic energy he released, the overall amount of demonic energy did not increase. It was as if a river had encountered an underground cave and was constantly being devoured. 1 breath, 10 breaths, 100 breaths. Blood God's face turned slightly pale. He had used up most of the demonic energy in his body and finally couldn't hold on any longer. He tried to take back the demonic energy, but he found that the demonic energy surrounding Ning Qi didn't listen to his command at all. It was being absorbed by a suction force. Because Blood God didn't release any more demonic energy, the demonic energy in the sky disappeared in an instant. Only then did everyone see that the demonic energy had been absorbed by Ning Qi's body. Which clan does this person belong to? He can even absorb Blood God's demonic energy? What's his innate divine ability? Could it be a genius that just arrived in the Devil Sky mystic realm? I've never seen him before. He looks unfamiliar. The Tai true demons behind the blood god couldn't help but reveal a hint of astonishment on their faces. They all sized up Ningqi, trying to guess his origins. "Who the hell are you?" Blood god gritted his teeth and looked at Ningqi coldly. "You don't recognize me? I'm your long-lost father." Ningqi's figure moved slightly and disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already in front of the blood god. There was a flash of anger in blood god's eyes. Before he could react, Ningqi's raindrop-like fists landed on his body. In less than a breath's time, blood god had been punched hundreds of times by Ningqi. His body was smashed into pieces and turned into the most primitive demon. The chi dissipated between heaven and earth. "Sir, what are you doing?" The rest of the Tai true demons were shocked. One of them involuntarily exclaimed as he looked at Ningqi with a trace of horror in his eyes. What a joke! He actually killed the blood god's son. If the blood pool demon lord knew about this, wouldn't they, the generals who had followed the blood god to the Big Dipper, be buried with him? Dongfang Haojie and the others couldn't understand what was going on. Why did this group of devils suddenly have an internal strife? However, they did not say anything to disturb him. After all, it was something that was beneficial to them. "Do you know who you've killed?" "That's the fifth son of the Bloodpool Demon Monarch." A primordial unity true demon glared furiously at Ningqi. Bang! There was a loud noise. The primordial unity true fiend's head had already been smashed by Ningqi's punch. Crazy, crazy! When the other Tai true demons saw this, they looked at Ningqi in horror and immediately fled. However, how could they be faster than Ningqi? Ningqi caught up with each of them with a punch and a kick. He didn't use any fancy moves at all. It was as if he didn't use any of them at all. It was like a fight between ordinary people. With a single punch and a kick, the 20-odd primordial unity true demons were all taken care of. This devil is too strong. Those devils are at least equivalent to primordial unity true immortals, but they couldn't fight back at all. Could this devil be a demon monarch? It's over. Many immortals' faces turned green. If Ningqi was a demon monarch, how could they survive today? Therefore, when Ningqi finished dealing with all the devils and flew back in front of everyone, Dongfang Haojie and the others protected Little Yer and Little Yer with grave expressions. Only by protecting the two girls and giving them the opportunity to use the terrifying yin-yang reversal, their self-created immortal art, would they have a chance to finish off the devils. Ningqi. It's me. Ningqi's voice suddenly sounded in the ears of the War God Temple's upper echelons. This is my other identity in disguise. Don't reveal it. What, boss? Yes, young master. Brother Ning? Big Dipper's encampment. Originally, Big Dipper was a level 5 planet in the demonic sky immortal realm. It wasn't as good as the top, but it was better than the bottom, and the scenery was very beautiful. However, over the years there had been many big and small battles on Big Dipper. Many beautiful mountains had been flattened, and many huge cities with hundreds of millions of people had been destroyed. It was riddled with holes and turned into a wasteland. There were also many areas contaminated by devil chi, filled with all kinds of monsters that had been demonized by mortals and immortals. The Big Dipper encampment was the last pure land on Big Dipper. This place had been personally arranged by Daoist Jiao, and Wukong had also cast a restrictive spell on it. It was difficult for the devils to find it, and only immortals could freely enter and exit it. If the formation on the encampment detected demonic chi, it would use a powerful killing move to directly kill them. The War God Temple was not the only power in the encampment. However, in order to prevent the War God Temple from becoming a thorn in the side of the devils, no one except the upper echelons of the War God Temple knew that this encampment had been created by the War God Temple. They thought that it had been created by the joint efforts of other experts who had passed by. Therefore, in the encampment, the War God Temple wasn't the only power, and there were also countless groups of various sizes. However, the War God Temple was the biggest power among them, and it was highly respected. In the headquarters of the War God Temple on Big Dipper encampment, a group of upper echelons sat around a round table in a certain hall. Ningqi, who had already changed back to his original appearance, sat on the main seat. You're saying that 80 to 90% of our War God Temple disciples have come to this border to defend against the demon race? After listening to Dongfang Haojie's report, Ningqi was slightly startled. Brother Ning, you won't blame me, right? I think. Dongfang Haojie wanted to explain. Ningqi waved his hand and said with a smile, Why would I blame you? If you don't experience life and death battles, how can you break through bottlenecks? There are many principles that can only be comprehended under the terrifying pressure of life and death. The disciples of the War God Temple can die, but they must die with value. In my opinion, resisting the devils is very valuable. Dongfang Haojie smiled and nodded. As long as Ningqi supported him, he felt that his efforts had not been in vain. At the same time, he had a selfish thought in his heart. That was to make the War God Temple famous in the immortal world. At that time, the War God Temple was already an invincible existence in the central continent, and everyone revered it. However, the border here can collapse at any time. There is an existence called the heaven-destroying Devil Lord on the side of the demon race. He is currently reassembling the shattered fragments of the demon race's continent in preparation for a large-scale invasion of the immortal world. Once he descends here, with the current strength of the immortal world, it will be difficult for the Heavenly Dao clan to resist the devils. Resist, you can't neglect your own safety while you're here to resist the demons, Ningqi said. Chapter 30:14. You're the smartest. Ningqi smiled at Little Yu'er. Little Yu'er blinked her eyes proudly. The others, including Meng Qingling, were also curious about what Ningqi was going to do to improve the safety of the disciples of the War God Temple at the border. Wait a minute. Ningqi smiled. After that, he took a look at his own attribute. Host, Ningqi Beast level. Early stage Tai perfected immortal cultivation skills. Imprisonment Dragon Elephant Art 13 levels. 9 inner hidden gates. 9 gates opened. 8-9 arcane art level 2. 9 hell tempering art level 6. Dragon slaying crystals. 300,000 merit points. 10. 2 million. 3,300,000 dragon slaying crystals. Ningqi sighed in his heart. He had killed countless enemies over the years, and did not use the dragon-slaying crystals much. Gradually, he had accumulated such a terrifying amount. Ningqi's divine will arrived at the dragon-slaying mall and began to search for the classification of the sex buildings. Ningqi had already eliminated the low-level buildings. He had his eyes on the first-ranked building in the classification of sex buildings. The Hollow Immortal Temple was worth 50 million dragon-slaying crystals. It could be upgraded 3 times. The first upgrade would cost 200 million dragon-slaying crystals, the second upgrade would cost 300 million dragon-slaying crystals, and the third upgrade would cost 500 million dragon-slaying crystals. It had the same function as the Fangtsuan Mountain. It could hide in the void. However, it was slightly better than the Fangtsuan Mountain. According to the system's introduction, even an immortal lord would not be able to find the location of the Void Immortal Hall easily. At the same time, everything that a sect should have, there would be something similar to a portable grotto heaven inside. As long as one held the token of the Hollow Immortal Temple, everyone would have a chance to enter and exit the Hollow Immortal Temple at will every day. If they were in danger, they could return to the Hollow Immortal Temple, and no one would be able to find their target. However, there was another reason why Ningqi was interested in it. The Hollow Immortal Temple had a function similar to the system's cultivation training ground. When it was upgraded to the highest level, the time flow inside would be 10 times slower than the outside world. In other words, 10 years inside was equivalent to 1 year in the immortal world. Unfortunately, it could not be used with the cultivation training ground. System, I want to exchange for this hollow immortal temple and upgrade it to the highest level. Ning Qi's mind moved slightly. The next moment, a jade pendant appeared in his hand. At the same time, the Dragon Slayer crystals in his attributes were deducted by the system. Ning Qi smiled and crushed the jade token. At the same time, he and the others suddenly disappeared on the spot. This is... Dongfang Haojie and the others stood in the void, staring dumbfoundedly at a place not far away. A moment ago, they were still in the Big Dipper encampment. In the blink of an eye, they had appeared in such a beautiful place. Moreover, not far away there were many magnificent buildings between the mountain ranges. Consecutive. This is the Void Immortal Temple. You can say that it's a replacement for Mount Innerheart. The previous Mount Innerheart was in the central continent, and I don't plan on bringing it here. If anything happens in the future, at least we'll have a way out. This Void Immortal Temple is more powerful than Mount Innerheart in all aspects. If you cultivate here for 10 years, only 1 year will pass in the outside world. Ning Qi smiled. 10 years? Only a year had passed in the outside world? Boss, how did you get such a powerful weapon? Duan Injun gasped and cried out involuntarily. The others were also shocked, but they were already used to Ning Qi's means. The War God platform, Mount Innerheart, and now the Void Immortal Temple. System, how much does it cost to exchange for the token of the Void Immortal Temple? 1 token, 10,000 dragon-slaying crystals. So expensive, Ning Qi calculated in his mind. If he wanted all 1 million disciples under his command to have a token, it would cost 10 billion dragon-slaying crystals. And he only had 2 billion dragon-slaying crystals left. Even if he exchanged all of them for tokens, it would only be enough to equip more than 200,000 disciples. Moreover, Ning Qi planned to exchange the remaining dragon-slaying crystals for things that could help people cultivate and put them in the Void Immortal Temple. This place could accommodate more people. Let's exchange for 100 first. Ning Qi's mind moved slightly. Then, 1 million dragon-slaying crystals were deducted from him again, and 100 tokens suddenly floated in the void in front of him. Ning Qi let Dongfang Haojie and the others take 1 each, and gave the rest to Dongfang Haojie so that he could give them to the important upper echelons of the War God Temple. As for the disciples below, Ning Qi would wait until he saw how many dragon-slaying crystals he had left, and then he would exchange them all. Wow! This hall is specially for people to cultivate? The spiritual qi inside is very rich. Is that the place for alchemy? It's very hot, so alchemy will be twice the result with half the effort. Hey, there's a training tower over there. While everyone was touring the Void Immortal Temple, Duan Injun exclaimed from time to time. Duan Feifei was already used to him shouting 666, so she did not care too much about her husband's emotions. Instead, she thought of the Void Immortal Temple's help to everyone. With it, the safety of the disciples of the War God Temple at the border would be greatly guaranteed. Ning Qi selectively upgraded a few places, such as the cultivation hall and the alchemy place. There was an earth-fire vein there, which could greatly increase the strength of one's immortal flame. After upgrading it, it would become a heavenly fire vein, which would probably increase the success rate of alchemy by at least 5 to 6 times. After upgrading these places, there were still about 2 billion dragon-slaying crystals left. Brother Ning, although this place is good, there are only 100 tokens. I'm afraid it's not enough. Dongfang Haojie said with a dignified look. Then these should be enough for the time being. I will send another batch after a while. Ning Qi directly exchanged all the 2 billion dragon-slaying crystals for tokens of the Void Immortal Temple, a total of 200,000 pieces. He kept a few hundred tokens for himself, and put the rest in his interspatial ring before handing them over to Dongfang Haojie. Dongfang Haojie's eyes lit up slightly. 200,000 pieces, that was indeed enough. At least 2 out of 10 disciples could equip them. That's right, boss. I saw Princess Snow Spirit on the All Heavens live broadcast platform. Her planet seems to be under a lot of pressure. When should we go and help? Duan Ingjun suddenly said. In the War God Temple, everyone had always been very respectful towards Snow Spirit. Which planet? Meng Qingling looked at Duan Ingjun and frowned. It seems to be called Earth Chief Star. Yes, it's called Earth Chief Star. Duan Ingjun thought for a while and said with certainty. Earth Chief Star. I will go alone. Ningqi said with a dignified look. I will go too. After all, there are only a few women who can chat with me. Meng Qingling smiled at Ningqi and said, You won't think that my cultivation is too low, right? Chapter 30:15. There was a certain distance between the Earth Stalwart Star and the Northern Dipper. There used to be a teleportation formation on the Northern Dipper, but the one that led to the demonic sky mystic realm had long been destroyed. Only a few teleportation formations that led to the ancient heavenly court were left in the Northern Dipper's encampment. The Nuwa. Ningqi and Meng Qingling stood in front of a transparent glass wall and watched as the Nuwa leapt again and again. Each leap covered an extremely long distance. Beixian, I heard that even immortal emperors can't leap through the void at will. How can the Nuwa do it? Meng Qingling asked a question that had been buried in her heart for a long time. Technology is different. Some civilizations may be weak, but they have their own unique point. Ningqi smiled. Oh, Meng Qingling nodded, not fully understanding. She already had some understanding of technology when she came to the ancestral star on the Nuwa, but she wasn't very interested in it. Sigh, it feels like it was yesterday. When you first entered the Cloudrise sect, you were just a 4th-layer Qi refinement kid, but now you're so powerful that you can kill primordial immortals at will. You even killed several immortal emperors of the Tiandao clan in the battle at the central planet. Meng Qingling suddenly sighed. If Ningqi hadn't appeared back then, she would have either died of old age or would still be in the Cloudrise sect. She would have been an old woman with one foot in the grave. She wouldn't have the appearance she had today. That's because of the demon patriarch's heart. I lost my mind and temporarily gained the power of a third-step cultivator. Ningqi smiled. What about now? Can you still maintain your combat strength? Meng Qingling was curious. Of course not. Otherwise, I wouldn't have to go to the Earth Stalwart Star. I would have driven all the demons back to the demonic continent. Ningqi smiled bitterly. It's a pity that the great war of immortals and demons came too suddenly. If you had enough time, you would have been able to suppress the demons by yourself. Meng Qingling nodded. She was full of confidence in Ningqi. Or rather, anyone who had a deep understanding of Ningqi would be full of confidence in Ningqi. After all, he had walked step by step out of a small place like the central continent and become a great figure in the immortal world that no one dared to underestimate. Ningqi didn't spend too much time on this. According to the time that everyone had spent in the 9 Regions Empire, Meng Qingling was much older than Ningqi. However, according to the time in the immortal world, the age that Meng Qingling was older than Ningqi was negligible and completely negligible. Master, over the past few hundred years your cultivation has also improved extremely quickly. Did you have any fortuitous encounters? Ningqi suddenly asked curiously. By the way, I wanted to ask you about this. Ever since a certain day 500 years ago, every time I meditated and slept, I would have the same dream. Meng Qingling said with a serious expression. Dream? What does it look like? Ningqi was even more curious. In the dream, I lived in a deep palace, and I kept hearing banging sounds coming from outside. But when I walked outside and wanted to see where the sound came from, a pair of red eyes appeared in front of me, and I woke up. Meng Qingling said with some lingering fear. From that time onwards, my cultivation would advance by leaps and bounds. However, I felt that I was becoming less and less like myself. In my mind, there would be some inexplicable cultivation techniques and celestial techniques. I've looked through these celestial techniques in ancient books. They come from ancient times and are very likely to be ancient celestials. It has been passed down from one clan to another. Master, I'm afraid you really are the reincarnation of one of the ancient immortals. After listening, Ning Qi said with a solemn expression. The reincarnation of the ancient immortal clan. Meng Qingling was silent. Master, are you worried that you will be replaced by someone else? No matter who you were before, after reincarnating, you are you. Ning Qi comforted him. However, Ning Qi's heart sank when he thought about how Patriarch Xianjian had chosen to fuse with King Qingguang. If it was Meng Qingling's original body, it would be fine. If it was like Old Man Mysterious Sword, it would be a trap set up by that supreme expert back then. It would be a bit troublesome. However, at this moment, Ning Qi wouldn't tell Meng Qingling about this. He could tell that Meng Qingling had been very concerned about this matter. He was a little confused. By the way, Master, did anything change after that dream? Ning Qi asked, cleverly changing the topic. Yes. Last month, I had a dream for the last time. After that, the dream never appeared again. In the dream, I finally walked out of the palace and saw a headless being chopping down a tree with a huge axe. On top of the tree, there was a rabbit's corpse. That pair of scarlet eyes came from that rabbit's head. Focus on it. Meng Qingling nodded. This, Ning Qi's expression changed slightly. He had a guess from Meng Qingling's description of the dream. What did you think of? Meng Qingling suddenly looked at Ning Qi. Don't hide it from me. Master, let me tell you a story. This story is related to the ancient immortals, Ning Qi said slowly. 2 hours passed. After listening to Ning Qi's story about Chang Yi's flight to the moon, Meng Qingling's palms were already covered with crystal-clear beads of sweat. Bei Xian, you mean? I might be the reincarnation of this ancient immortal Chang Yi? It's not possible. I think it's 99%, Ning Qi said in his heart. Meng Qingling smiled and said, It's possible. Chang Yi's status in the ancient immortal clan is quite high. Master, don't worry. Well, since it's a reincarnation, it's better than the reincarnation of a small fry. Meng Qingling nodded slightly. After a pause, she asked, Where did you learn these stories? It's on the Nuwa. Nuwa, bring some storybooks for Master. Well, a set of Journey to the West. Ning Qi shouted. Coming. Not long after, Nuwa personally brought a large pile of books over. Meng Qingling sat on the sofa and flipped through them. Seeing this, Ning Qi looked through the glass wall into the depths of the universe. Since coming to the celestial realm, there had been many reincarnations around him. Even he might be the reincarnation of the ancient immortal clan. From the looks of it, during the Great War of the Immortals and Demons, many ancient immortals had arranged a path for themselves as long as they had the opportunity and the ability. It was unknown how many people would awaken later. Chapter 30:16. On a planet shrouded in thick black mist, there was a huge stone palace. Currently, several demons with Tai true demon cultivation were standing on both sides of the stone palace with their heads lowered respectfully. In the center of the stone hall sat a 20-foot-tall, bare-chested giant. His muscles were bulging, and just by sitting there, a powerful aura slowly emanated from his body, causing the Tai true demons present to feel great pressure. This person was one of the 9 great demon monarchs of the demonic sky immortal realm, the Bloodpool demon monarch. Only 8 of the 9 great demon monarchs were left. The cultivation of the soulless demon monarch had fallen back to the peak stage of the Tai true demon monarch, thus losing his position as a demon monarch. However, the Bloodpool demon monarch was still the strongest among the 9. He was only half a step away from becoming a demon monarch. Do none of you know where the blood god went with over 20 generals a few days ago? The Bloodpool demon monarch said calmly. The palace fell silent. Father, could fifth brother have been killed by a powerful existence from the immortal race? A peak stage Tai true demon suddenly stood up and whispered to the Bloodpool demon monarch. He was the first son of the Bloodpool demon monarch, Blood Demon. Go and investigate this matter. I want to see him if he's alive and his corpse if he's dead. The Bloodpool demon monarch harumphed coldly as he glanced at Blood Demon. Yes, father. Blood Demon nodded and retreated to the side. At this moment, another Tai true demon came forward and said in a low voice, Lord Demon Lord, the soulless demon lord was killed a while ago, and the blood god suddenly disappeared. Maybe there's a connection between the two. Go and investigate this matter. The heaven-defeating demon monarch is about to arrive. I don't want the situation in the demonic sky immortal realm to change too much during this period of time, lest the higher-ups say that we didn't do a good job. The Bloodpool demon monarch said calmly. Yes. Those stories are quite interesting, but are they all true? Meng Qingling walked up to Ningqi after reading all the books that Niuhua had given her. Some of them should be true. Ningqi smiled. Who were these stories passed down from? That existence should be a powerful existence from before the ancient war of the immortals and demons? Meng Qingling was curious. This disciple is not too sure. Ningqi smiled helplessly. We're almost at the Earth Chief Star. Now that the matters here have been settled, where do you plan to go? Meng Qingling smiled. Let's return to the ancestral star first. There are still a few places we can visit. Do you know the Bull Demon King? Ningqi smiled. Great sage who pacifies heaven? According to the stories, he was extremely powerful, and there were few who could match him in the ancient immortal clan. Meng Qingling nodded. He was sealed in the immortal world by the Tiandao clan. Unfortunately, he was split into over 1,000 parts. I only know of one of the sealed areas. This time, the Tiandao clan has shrunk their heads and refused to come out, Ningqi said. When Meng Qingling heard this, a trace of surprise flashed in her eyes. She had just seen the Bull Demon King in the story, and now she knew that he was being suppressed in the celestial realm. She had a feeling that she couldn't tell the difference between the story and reality. Not long after, the Niuhua warped one last time, and a planet finally appeared not far away. According to the coordinates, it was undoubtedly the Earth Chief Star. Ningqi put away the Niuhua warship and landed on the Earth Chief Star with Meng Qingling. As soon as they landed, they heard battle cries coming from all around. Kill! A series of angry roars rang out. In the air, over 1,000 immortals were fighting with the demons. Before Ningqi could do anything, Meng Qingling had already taken care of all the demons. The group of immortals was confused when they suddenly saw all their opponents dead. Then, they immediately noticed Meng Qingling and Ningqi and landed in front of them, thanking them with cupped fists. We thank the two seniors for your help. The leading immortal was only an early-stage Zenith Heaven Golden immortal. Just from what Meng Qingling had done, he could tell that her cultivation was far beyond that of a Zenith Heaven Golden immortal. Ningqi's aura was also unfathomable, but he was sure that he was at least a mystic immortal. Have you heard of Princess Snow Spirit? Meng Qingling asked. Princess Snow Spirit? The group of immortals' expressions changed slightly. Ningqi suddenly had a bad premonition. His voice suddenly turned cold. Tell me everything you know. The leading Zenith Heaven Golden immortal quickly said, Do you know Princess Snow Spirit? Not long ago, the demonic Blood Dragon clan on the Earth Chief Star had all defected to the demon race. They even set up a trap. A few mystical demons made a move and trapped Princess Snow Spirit in the demonic Blood Dragon clan's territory. They are planning to demonize her with demonic energy. Where is the Demon Blood Dragon clan's territory? Meng Qingling asked coldly. When the Zenith Heaven Golden Immortal pointed the way, Ning Qi grabbed Meng Qingling and disappeared. Between several mountain ranges there was a huge town. This was not a human town, but the ancestral land of the demonic Blood Dragon clan, which had been passed down for many years on Earthen Chief Star. The demonic Blood Dragon clan was not a pure dragon clan. According to legend, the ancestor of the demonic Blood Dragon clan was an ordinary mortal. After the ancient war between immortals and demons, he was accidentally stained with the blood of the demon realm's dragon clan and demonized. However, he inadvertently retained his consciousness. After many generations of inheritance, he finally cultivated the demonic origin blood and obtained the body of a dragon. However, the other dragon clans in the immortal realm did not recognize their identity. This was because the physical bodies of the demonic Blood Dragon clan were completely different from those of the true dragon clan. They had 2 pairs of enormous wings on their back. Apart from their heads, they looked like lizards with wings. At this moment, in the demonic Blood Dragon clan's territory, there was a snow-white, slightly petite giant dragon trapped by a formation filled with demonic chi. The mighty demonic aura continuously surged towards the snow-white dragon. Many of the scales on the snow-white dragon's body had already been stained black. However, another white energy was continuously expelling the black color. 4 cold-looking mystic demons stood around the formation. At the same time, there were also some beings with lower cultivation than them, but their auras were not very similar to the demons. These people were transformed from the Demon Blood Dragon clan, and there was indeed a trace of the demon bloodline in their bodies. Princess Snow Spirit, don't resist anymore. Relax your body and mind, and accept the baptism of our demon race. This way, you can become a noble demon blood dragon like me. In the future, we can march into the immortal world together and deal with those incomparably virtuous little snakes. Actually, our physiques are similar, and there must be some in your ancestors. Why are you unwilling to acknowledge your ancestors and return to your clan? Chapter 30:17. She really doesn't know what's good for her. However, the bloodline in her body is quite interesting. How can a normal mystic immortal resist the demonification formation set up by the 4 of us? If she's demonified, she must be very powerful. One of the mystic demons looked at the snow-white dragon in the formation with a faint smile. Boom! The snow-white dragon rampaged around, and her surroundings were filled with faint snowflakes. Every time she collided, these snowflakes would bring with them an extremely cold aura. They all bombarded the array formation, rippling out a layer of frost that spread in all directions. However, this frost was instantly melted by the demonic aura. It's useless, Princess Snow Spirit. Just accept the demonification and stop resisting. After you're demonified, we'll be husband and wife. It won't be long before you have a chance to reach the Tai True Demon Realm. The handsome young man persuaded again. Demonic Blood Clan leader, she won't listen. One of the mystic demons smiled. This handsome young man was the current clan leader of the demonic Blood Dragon clan. He was also the #1 expert in the clan. Although his cultivation was only at the mid-stage mystic immortal stage, his battle strength was comparable to a late-stage mystic immortal. He was a famous existence on the Earth Chief Star. I didn't expect you to be in cahoots with the demon race for the past hundreds of years. No wonder you've been defeated in so many battles. You were the one who leaked the information. The snow-white dragon suddenly turned back into a human. It was a woman with fair and delicate skin. She had a faint, icy temperament. There was a trace of anger in her eyes as she looked directly at the demonic Blood Clan leader. At the same time, frost was constantly emerging from her body to fight against the demonic aura in the formation. My demonic blood dragon clan is a descendant of the demon race. How can we be in cahoots? The demonic blood clan leader shook his head with a smile. After a pause, he revealed a sincere expression. This time, I specially ask the four of you to set up the demonification formation in hopes that you can retain your consciousness after demonification. Princess Snow Spirit, you and I are a match made in heaven. Don't resist anymore. Otherwise, the formation will fail and you'll be demonified directly. At that time, you'll become a demonic creature without consciousness and a walking corpse. Do you wish to see that? Of course not. A voice rang out in the air. The patriarch of the demonic blood clan and the four mystical demons were taken aback. Snow Spirit's expression also changed when she heard this voice. Everyone looked towards the sky and saw two figures standing in the void above the formation. Beixian? Dream Master? When Snow Spirit saw the two of them, a smile immediately appeared on her face and her eyelids slowly closed. At the same time, Ning Qi lightly patted the formation with his palm, instantly destroying the formation set up by the four mystic demons. He then caught Snow Spirit, who was about to fall to the ground, in his arms. Her eyes were closed, and her breathing was steady. I'm just exhausted and fell asleep. Meng Qingling said softly after checking. Who are you? The patriarch of the demonic blood clan looked at Ning Qi with some astonishment. Since Ning Qi was able to destroy the formation set up by four mystical demons with a single palm strike, his cultivation must not be low. However, when he regained his senses and saw Ning Qi holding Xue Ling in his arms, a hint of anger flashed in his eyes. In his opinion, Xue Ling would become his wife sooner or later. How could she be held in the arms of a stranger? This was absolutely unacceptable. Dragon Clan. Ning Qi looked indifferently at the patriarch of the demonic blood clan. A cold light flashed in his eyes. In the next moment, he casually patted 4 times, and the 4 mystical demons who were preparing for battle were instantly sent flying. When they landed on the ground, they had already turned into minced meat. When the patriarch of the demonic blood clan saw this, horror flashed in his eyes. Tai, the members of the demonic blood dragon clan, who had been watching from the sidelines, looked at each other and did not dare to make a sound. They knew that the strength of the newcomer was too strong, and he was definitely not someone they could deal with. For a moment, the scene became very quiet. How long have you trapped her with the formation? Ning Qi asked indifferently. Senior, there may be some misunderstanding here. This formation was set up by the 4 mystical demons. I am the patriarch of the demonic blood dragon clan, a pure and authentic immortal. I had no choice but to say those words just now under the threat of the 4 mystical demons. The expression of the patriarch of the demonic blood clan suddenly became extremely solemn, and he solemnly cupped his hands at Ning Qi. That's right, the patriarch was forced. Many members of the demonic blood dragon clan echoed. You even deceived yourself? No wonder Xue Ling couldn't see through you. A hint of mockery flashed in Ning Qi's eyes. If he had not seen the cause and effect, and only looked at the expression of the patriarch of the demonic blood clan at this moment, he might really have believed him after hearing his words. He was a natural-born master of lies. To deceive others, one must first deceive oneself. He clearly had an extremely thorough understanding of this principle. You even deceived yourself? What do you mean by that? Don't you believe me? The patriarch of the demonic blood clan looked at Ning Qi with a stunned expression. There was just the right amount of fear, panic, and injustice in his eyes. The clansmen of the demonic blood dragon clan are all here now, right? Ning Qi said indifferently. Don't be impulsive, sir. We are really just pretending to be courteous for the time being. The patriarch of the demonic blood clan hurriedly said. Even a fool could understand the meaning behind the other party's question, because he had asked someone the same question before. Ning Qi smiled. Then, with a slight thought, the demonic aura in his body immediately surged. However, his demonic aura would not harm Xueling in his arms or Meng Qingling beside him. The patriarch of the demonic blood clan and the others stared dumbfoundedly at Ningqi. From an immortal filled with immortal qi, he suddenly transformed into a demon with monstrous demonic flames. The difference between the two was too great for them to react. You are, a hint of disbelief flashed in the eyes of the patriarch of the demonic blood clan. Are you really pretending to be courteous with the demon race? Ningqi said with a smile. Thump. The patriarch of the demonic blood clan immediately knelt on the ground and kowtowed. Senior, I didn't know that you were a mighty figure of the demon race just now. What I said just now was just a casual remark for the sake of my life. In fact, I brought all my clansmen to join the demon race hundreds of years ago. The blood of the demon race flows in my body. Please understand, Senior. In that case, you are a demon, then you should be killed. Ningqi said with a smile. The patriarch of the demonic blood clan raised his head in shock. There was no demonic aura left on Ningqi's body. He was clearly a deity through and through. Ningqi looked at the patriarch of the demonic blood clan with a faint smile. He slowly raised his hand and pressed down lightly. The group of demonic blood dragon clan members around him seemed to be compressed by some kind of power and exploded on the spot. Pieces of flesh and blood scattered on the ground, and the air was instantly filled with an unpleasant smell of blood. Chapter 30:18. Why don't you guess? Ningqi smiled. I'm not guessing. The demon blood patriarch suddenly jumped up from the ground, and a dagger appeared in his hand, stabbing towards Ningqi. This was a mid-grade Dao artifact level dagger, and it was extremely powerful at close range. The demon blood patriarch himself was a dragon, and the strength of his body was much more terrifying than that of an ordinary immortal. His movements were extremely fast. Go to hell! Clang! The dagger stabbed into Ningqi's arm, causing sparks to fly. The demonic blood patriarch's ferocious expression gradually faded. Your physical body, it's definitely stronger than you, right? Ningqi smiled, reaching out to take the dagger from the demonic blood patriarch's hand, and then, while the patriarch was in a daze, he gently stabbed the dagger into his heart. Then, he stirred it a few times. Pft! A mouthful of blood flowed out of the demonic blood patriarch's mouth, and he collapsed unwillingly. Xueling slowly opened her eyes, and suddenly found herself lying on a large, comfortable bed. An ray of sunlight was shining through the window onto the ground. Then, she could vaguely see a figure sitting in the back of the light. You're awake. Ningqi got up and walked to the bedside. Where am I? Xueling said with some surprise. Void Immortal Temple. Take this token. In the future, if you encounter danger, you can directly return to Void Immortal Temple, but you can only enter and exit twice a day. Ningqi took out a jade token and handed it to Xueling. Void Immortal Temple. Xueling reached out to take the token, and suddenly felt some information in her mind, which was an overview of Void Immortal Temple. It's somewhat similar to the Fangtsuan Mountain in the past. With such a place, the disciples of the War God Temple will be much safer. Xueling said with some emotion. After a pause, she glanced at Ningqi, and a trace of shame flashed in her eyes. It's all thanks to you this time, or I might have already been demonized. Sometimes you're just too trusting. Ningqi smiled. I thought that since we're both dragons, we should join forces to resist the demons. I didn't expect the rumors on the Earth Chief Star to be true. Snow Spirit sighed softly. By the way, I've been dreaming of a scene recently. You and I are in a garden, and we seem to be talking about something. I also have a new name, Shingong Shuer. This dream started 500 years ago, and it has become clearer recently. Xueling suddenly looked at Ningqi and asked doubtfully. Shingong Shuer? Ningqi's pupils suddenly constricted, and his expression became a little dignified. Ever since Jiang Yu said that Wang Shui's soul was the reincarnation of Shengong Shuer, Ning Qi had some worries. He didn't expect his worries to become a reality, however. Was there really such a coincidence in this world? Wang Shui was one of the reincarnations, and Xueling was also one of the reincarnations? Between the two of them, who was the real one? Or was there another reincarnation? It might just be a dream. Don't take it to heart. Ning Qi comforted him. But ever since I started that dream, the power of ice and snow in my body has become stronger and stronger. It's as if I don't need to cultivate, and my cultivation is still increasing, Xueling said helplessly. This situation couldn't be said to be a bad thing, but it was definitely not a good thing either. If one's cultivation increased for no reason, one might go berserk in the future. Shengong Shuer was born with the great Tao body, and her power is also ice and snow. However, Wang Shui didn't show any talent in this aspect back then. It seems that when Shengong Shui reincarnated, she might have differentiated the two. Ning Qi instantly felt a headache. As expected, the immortal world started to change after the invasion of the demon race. Otherwise, how could it be such a coincidence that both Meng Qingling and Xueling started to dream? If something like Ancestor Xianjian happened in the future, and the two had to merge, Ning Qi felt that he would stop it. Be it Wang Shui or Xueling, even if they were the reincarnations of Shengong Shuer, they had their own memories and were pure individuals. It was impossible for Ning Qi to watch the two fuse into one. Do you think it's possible that I'm the reincarnation of that girl called Shengong Shuer? If I recover my memories in the future, will I still be me? Xueling's tone was a little low. Of course you are you. No matter who you were in your previous life, you will only be Xueling in this life. Ning Qi nodded. That's good. A smile appeared on Xueling's face, as if winter had passed and spring had arrived. Recently, many experts of the demon race have died. Perhaps the situation on the border will change a little. If you attack again, remember to be careful. You must hold the token well. This time, you've used up too much energy. You need to rest for a while. Have a good sleep. Ning Qi smiled. Xueling nodded and slowly closed her eyes. The dragon race loved to sleep, and they usually relied on sleep to replenish their energy after exhausting themselves. Seeing that Xueling had fallen asleep, Ning Qi stood on the spot and pondered for a while before he turned around and left. He didn't leave the hollow immortal hall. Instead, he went to ask the others to see if anyone else had been dreaming recently. To Ning Qi's relief, apart from Meng Qingling and Xueling, the others were fine. Be careful these days. I'll return to the ancestral star first. If you encounter any demon race that you can't defeat, return to the hollow immortal hall and wait for my return. In the hall, Ning Qi specially briefed everyone before he left the hollow immortal hall and flew toward the ancestral star. Ning Qi was extremely fast. As soon as he entered the ancient heavenly court, he released the Nuwa ship and hurried along with the teleportation portals of various planets without stopping to rest at all. While Ning Qi was hurrying toward the ancestral star, a team of demons had penetrated deep into one of the most remote planets in the Langya immortal domain through various disguises. It was a planet without any human immortals, and the strongest cultivator on the planet was only at the Great Ascension stage. The leader of this team of demons was one of the 9 great demon lords of the demonic sky immortal domain, Demon Lord Skycatcher. According to the ancient records, there's an extremely terrifying legacy on this planet, but the people of that lineage are all dead. Search for it now. Find that legacy even if you have to dig 3 feet into the ground. Demon Lord Skycatcher said flatly. If there were any cultivators present, they would be shocked to see that Demon Lord Skycatcher was wearing a black monk's robe, and the Tai true demons he brought with him were all bald and dressed in plain black monk's robes. If it weren't for the vague demonic chi around their bodies, They would look like monks from a certain temple. They were going out to attend a Dharma assembly. Yes, Abbot. The group of bald men nodded, then turned into meteors and scattered in all directions. One of them appeared in the sky above a huge city. Chapter 30:19. The One Who Will Take Your Life. The monk grinned, and waves of demonic chi surged out of his body. The Mahayana cultivator didn't even have time to react before he was demonized by the demonic chi. His body began to undergo all sorts of inexplicable changes, and in the blink of an eye, he became a demonic creature that had lost all sense of reason. Shang had the aura of a superior. He didn't choose to attack the monk. Instead, he charged towards the huge city below. There were cultivators in the huge city below, but there were even more mortals. The devils transformed from Mahayana cultivators entering this huge city were like tigers entering a flock of sheep. They were invincible existences. Along with miserable screams, the mortals in the huge city were constantly being demonized. The cultivators who came to save the day were coming to the rescue. The cultivators who came to save the day either died or fled in terror. They're too slow. The monk shook his head. With a thought, another wave of devil chi rushed out from his body, turning into a black dragon that swept across the city. In less than a moment, the entire city was immersed in a monstrous devil flame. From the nobles to the peddlers, regardless of whether they were cultivators or mortals, the entire city was engulfed in the devil flame. From the nobles to the commoners, cultivators and mortals alike, they were all demonized by the demonic chi. The giant city that was originally full of vitality had now become a city of death filled with all kinds of wandering demonic creatures. It seems like there's no inheritance here that the demon monarch wants. The monk waited for a long time, but there was no sign of any phenomenon. He shook his head and headed to the next giant city. Similar scenes were happening everywhere. In less than half a day, at least 100 giant cities on this planet had been turned into scenes from hell. The demon monarch of Heavencraft stood in the void, his divine sense enveloping the entire planet. He didn't miss a single corner, so that he would be the first to notice anything strange happening. Help! Panicked mortals madly ran out of the city gates, and behind them were a group of demon beasts. How could the mortals be faster than the demon beasts? Those who fell behind were caught by the demon beasts and eaten alive, giving the mortals some time to escape. There were broken limbs all around, and fresh blood flowed along the ravine on the ground in all directions. The air was filled with the nauseating smell of blood. A family of 3. The father carried his daughter and his wife as they ran for their lives. Their speed was faster than the other mortals, but gradually, the mortals behind them were devoured. Naturally, they became the next target of the monsters. In just a few breaths of time, the demonic creatures had crossed the distance of 1,000 feet and surrounded the family of 3. The monk who was standing on top of the giant city only glanced at the commotion here and no longer paid any attention to it. The child cried in fear. The father hugged the child tightly and stuck close to his wife. He looked around at the group of monsters in a panic. Don't be afraid, close your eyes," he muttered to himself. The child obediently closed his eyes and suddenly felt that he was not as afraid as before. Roar! A few of the monsters suddenly roared and pounced towards the family of 3. The father and wife closed their eyes and tightly hugged each other. But after waiting for a long time, they suddenly found that the pain they had imagined had yet to come. Finally, the 3 of them quietly opened their eyes and saw that the monsters around them had arrived. But a pair of bare feet appeared in front of the 3 of them. "Master?" his father asked in bewilderment. It was a young monk in a gray robe. However, the gray robe was full of patches and he did not have shoes on his feet. "Benefactor, are you all right?" The young monk smiled. I'm fine, it's good that you're fine. Benefactor, continue in this direction. There's a monk temple not far ahead. You can stay there for a while. After saying that, the young monk walked towards the giant city. With just a step, he arrived at the entrance of the giant city. When he entered the city, he saw a hellish scene. The demonic creatures were constantly pouncing on the mortals. Even the cultivators were barely holding on. Ba. The young monk placed his palms together and chanted a Buddhist mantra. Then, wherever he passed, the demonic creatures were destroyed one after another. Some mortals and cultivators who were about to be killed inexplicably found themselves saved. Then, they saw a young monk dressed in extremely simple clothes pass by. In less than 10 breaths of time, all the demonic creatures in the giant city were eliminated. When the black-robed monk with the cultivation of a true demon saw this, his eyes immediately locked onto the gray-robed monk. Could he be the descendant of that lineage? The black-robed monk's eyes flickered and his figure suddenly disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already in front of the young monk. Little monk, your cultivation is not bad. To be able to disperse my demonic chi, it means that your inheritance is not bad. The black-robed monk grinned. You speak the common language of the immortal world quite well. It seems that your background should be extraordinary. However, why did you come here? The young monk said indifferently. Naturally, I'm looking for the thing that our Lord Demon Lord wants. I wonder if you have it with you? The black-robed monk smiled and walked towards the young monk. My apologies, but I can't give it to you. When the black-robed monk reached the young monk, he gently raised his hand and placed it on the monk's forehead. During this process, the black-robed monk realized that he couldn't move his body at all, and a look of shock appeared on his face. Then, the young monk's palm blossomed with golden light. The black-robed monk only had time to let out a mournful howl before he turned into charcoal and fell to the ground. The commotion here naturally couldn't escape the demon lord's consciousness. In the blink of an eye, he and his subordinates had arrived above the giant city where the young monk was. You're the descendant of that lineage, am I right? The demon lord asked indifferently. Which lineage? The young monk smiled and raised his head to meet the demon lord's gaze. You're just bluffing. The demon lord sneered. That lineage is already extinct. Even if there were descendants, they wouldn't be able to obtain their essence. Today, I'll seize your inheritance, and in the future, I'll rebuild the spirit mountain on the demonic continent. As he spoke, demonic chi surged in front of him and transformed into an enormous demonic palm that slammed down on the young monk. However, just as his demonic palm was about to land on the young monk's body, it was obstructed by the sudden appearance of a golden light, unable to advance an inch. Chapter 30:20. Impossible. Demon Catapult stared at his own body in disbelief. He wanted to flee, but his body seemed to be shackled by some sort of power and couldn't move at all. Soon, all that was left of him was his head. Who the hell are you? Regret flashed in Demon Catapult's eyes as he glared at the young monk. I'm Dipankara. The young monk smiled, and Demon Catapult's head completely dissipated. However, in the instant that he disappeared, his eyes were filled with astonishment, shock, and even a hint of horror. The world of immortals is about to fall into chaos. Dipankara sighed softly. How are your preparations coming along? Just a little bit more. The Tiandao clan plans to use the demons to wear us down. What are your plans? A black-robed, extremely handsome young man appeared behind Dipankara. I think there's something you're looking for in that direction. Dipankara suddenly pointed in a direction. There? Ancestral star? King Qingguang frowned slightly. Before he could say anything else, Dipankara had already vanished. That old monk. Speechless, King Qingguang looked around, shook his head, and headed in the direction of Ancestral Star. Ancestral Star. It's been centuries since I've been back. Ning Qi stood in the void above Immortal Abode, sighing inwardly. It was still the same familiar scenery and mountain range, and not far away was the Stone River Pill sect. The only difference was that he'd seen many young immortals pass by, all of them holding celestial talismans. Centuries ago, only a handful of geniuses had the celestial talismans. Now, however, they were very common. The demonic chi in your body has been suppressed? A faint voice sounded behind Ning Chi. Senior, you're always so elusive. You're going to scare people out of their wits. Ning Chi helplessly turned around and bowed to the green-robed old man. Ning Chi really hadn't noticed when the old man had appeared. The green-robed old man ignored Ning Chi's complaints, but his eyes fell on the spot below Ning Chi's ear, and his expression changed slightly. In the next moment, the eternal flame that Ning Chi had hidden emerged from his skin and floated in front of him. This is King Qingguang's eternal fire. Not bad, not bad. With it, King Qingguang could re-establish the order of the 6 paths of reincarnation. Then, he wouldn't need to worry about the war with demons anymore. A smile appeared on the green-robed elder's face. Ning Chi felt that this was the first time he had seen him smile. Previously, his attitude had always been indifferent, but there was a trace of undetectable arrogance. Since Senior knows about the eternal flame, do you know where Senior Qin Guangwang is right now? Ning Chi cupped his hands. Are you planning to give him the eternal fire? The green-robed old man looked at Ning Chi in surprise. Do you know how helpful it will be to your cultivation if you refine this flame? I don't know. Ning Chi smiled. I don't really want to know. I'm afraid I can't bear to. Haha, you're very good. Now, I feel like you're no longer a chess piece that the Tiandao family arranged for me. The green-robed elder nodded with a smile. Senior, you're really suspicious. Ning Chi smiled helplessly. If I wasn't so suspicious, why would my cultivation be at the bottom when I was still under Master's tutelage? The green-robed elder snorted coldly and walked towards the Xianjian sect with his hands behind his back. Your master, Yu Qing, is very worried about you. Go and pay him a visit first. Ning Chi was slightly startled, but he nodded and cupped his hands at the green-robed elder's back as a form of farewell. Then, he turned and flew towards the Yuqing sect. In the process of flying, Ning Chi's appearance and body shape gradually reverted to his original appearance. He initially wanted to hide his identity, but after returning to the immortal world, he suddenly felt that he would lose the opportunity to enter the Heaven Dao Pavilion and the Paradise Mystic Realm if he did so. It would be better to do it openly. It would be better to let the Heaven Dao Pavilion notice that as long as they sent people to hunt him down, they would have to open the gate first. Then, he could use Jiang Yu to enter the Heaven Dao Pavilion. When he was about to reach the Yuqing sect, a small battle broke out in front of Ning Chi. Ning Chi glanced at the attributes of this group of people and realized that many of them were not from the ancestral star, but from the outside world. It had been hundreds of years since Ji Fei's words, and there were no more opportunities on the ancestral star. Why were there so many immortals from the outside world staying here? He thought to himself. Ning Chi's lips curled into a faint smile. These people probably felt that this place was safer after seeing the green-robed elder and Patriarch Yu Qing in the ancestral star. After all, when Patriarch Yu Qing made a move on the Luo immortal planet, it seemed to have been captured by the All-Heaven Talisman. Therefore, many immortals should have clearly understood that Patriarch Yu Qing's techniques were not only at the level of a Xian immortal. Father, Mother, it's these 2 siblings who stole something from me and refused to admit it. That woman has a pearl that was given to me by a senior when we were on the Juku star. Father, Mother, please seek justice for me. A young man with a perfected earth immortal cultivation glared fiercely at Bei Xiao and Bei Meng. When his gaze swept across Bei Meng's bosom, there was a hint of greed in his eyes. At this moment, Bei Xiao and Bei Meng were surrounded by a large group of earth immortals. Behind the young man stood a man and a woman. Both of them had the aura of a heaven immortal. The man had a solemn expression as his gaze fell on Bei Xiao and Bei Meng, while the woman gave the young man a doting look. She smiled at the two and said, "Hand over the thing that you stole from my son. Are you trying to take it by force? When did I steal from him? I was born with this bead." Bei Meng was a little angry. She took out the stone pearl that she always carried with her. "Open your eyes and look at this. Is this yours?" He clearly wanted to buy it at a price, but I didn't agree. So, he was ready to rob it. After being chased away by us siblings, he called you over. Big Brother and I are disciples of the Wind Cloud sect. Disciples of the Wind and Cloud sect, if you dare to do anything, our master will not let you off. The couple's eyes fell on the stone bead, and their expressions suddenly changed. They looked at each other, and then the middle-aged man smiled at Bei Meng and said, "This bead is indeed my son's personal possession. Don't try to deny it. I'm the patriarch of the Kong family from Nine Song Star, and I have a distant relative named Yu. I have a distant relative who is the personal disciple of the Yu Qing ancestor of the Qing sect. You're wrong if you want to use the Wind and Cloud sect to bully us." The Yu Qing ancestor? Bei Xiao and Bei Meng's expression changed slightly. The other party thought that they were afraid. Suddenly, a figure landed beside them and said with a smile, "Little fella, what happened?" Chapter 30-21. Uncle Ning. The couple and their son's expressions changed slightly when they saw Ning Qi. However, when they recalled that this place was not far from the Jade Clear sect and that they were inextricably linked to Kong Wen, they immediately calmed down a little when they recalled that they came to the ancestral star from Juku Star to seek refuge with Kong Wen. "Is this your elder? Good timing. This little girl has taken something from my son. What do you think we should do?" The middle-aged man looked at Ning Qi indifferently. "Uncle Ning, this stone orb is mine," Bei Meng immediately retorted. Ning Qi looked at the stone orb in her hand and nodded slowly. It was indeed Bei Meng's. When he was transforming into a mortal, Bei Meng had accidentally lost the stone orb and was almost knocked down by several knights while trying to pick it up. "Bitch! You're still trying to quibble? Ask my servants, does this bead belong to you?" The young man said angrily. "It's young master's. Young master had it with him since he was young. I didn't think that the people of the homeworld would take things by force. They really can't compare to us, Juku planet." Voices of agreement rang out around them. "If you won't let this little girl return the stone orb to my son, I'll have to send a message for the Grand Luo of the Yuqing sect to come and judge the situation." The middle-aged man said flatly. "Is that so? Send the message then." Ning Qi smiled. The middle-aged man's expression changed. Then, the young man sneered and said, "Grand Luo Kong, one of the Yuqing sect, is my distant uncle. If he really comes to judge the situation, you won't get off easy today. Senior brother Kong, one has ascended to Grand Luo?" Ning Qi's eyes moved slightly, and he looked at the young man with a faint smile. "Send the message. Husband, these three refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Then let brother Kong one come and judge the situation." The middle-aged woman glared at Ning Qi coldly and snorted. The middle-aged man nodded and took out the heavenly talisman to send a message. He was a little nervous, however. He had only met Kong Wen a few times, and he did not know if the latter would be willing to help. But soon, he received Kong Wen's reply. A smile immediately appeared on his face, and he looked at Ning Qi and the other two mockingly. "The people from Yuqing sect are coming. I heard that Yuqing sect is the strongest sect on Ancestral Star. You can explain it to them and see if they believe us." "We believe in you." Bei Xiao and Bei Meng glanced at the middle-aged man with a strange look and didn't say anything. Ning Qi smiled and didn't say anything. In the eyes of the crowd, the three of them were clearly afraid. At this time, Ningqi noticed that the couple and their son would occasionally look at the stone pearl in Bei Meng's hand. Ningqi's heart trembled slightly. There must be something strange about the stone pearl, but even he couldn't see through it. Could it be that her eyesight was better than his? They didn't have to wait too long. About 10 minutes later, an immortal boat arrived. Standing in front of the immortal boat was Kong-won. At this moment, his aura was already at the early stage of perfected golden immortal. Kong-won was followed by a group of Jade Clear sect disciples. Even the weakest among them was much stronger than the middle-aged couple, the two heaven immortals. When the family of 3 saw Kong-won, they hastily saluted. On the immortal boat, Kong-won's gaze swept past the 3 of them and then fell on Ningqi. At this glance, a look of surprise appeared on his face. "Junior brother? Big brother Kong, you have to seek justice for us. We traveled thousands of miles from Juku Star to the Ancestral Star to seek refuge with you, but along the way, we encountered these 3 thieves and they stole a stone pearl that your nephew carried with him," the middle-aged woman quickly said. The middle-aged man also nodded and said, "Big brother, that's what happened. Because this is the Ancestral Star, and we don't know where those 3 came from, we can only let Big brother handle it. We'll have to trouble Big brother this time." The young man looked at Kong-won with a trace of fear and respect in his eyes, but he didn't speak. In his eyes, a perfected golden immortal was already a very powerful existence. Back on Juku Star, the number 1 expert was no more than that. "Stole a stone pearl from you?" Kong-won's expression changed slightly. When he saw Ningqi nodding at him with a faint smile, he immediately understood what was going on. In the next moment, his face turned extremely livid. When the couple saw this, a trace of complacency flashed in their eyes. Judging from Kong-won's current attitude, their goal would definitely be achieved. "Nephew Kong-sien, that stone pearl, is it really yours?" Kong-won stepped on the void and landed on the ground. The Jade Clear sect disciples behind him also landed. No one noticed that their faces were already filled with surprise and joy as they stared at Ningqi. Kong-sien hastily cupped his fists and said, "Eldest uncle, that stone pearl really belongs to me. When I was on Juku Star, I was taught by an expert, and the stone pearl was given to me by that expert. I didn't expect to be tricked by this woman as soon as I arrived at the Ancestral Star." Smack! There was a crisp sound. Kong-sien's body spun a dozen times in the air before falling heavily to the ground. Half of his face was cracked and dripping with blood. When the couple and their subordinates saw this, they stared at Kong-won dumbfounded. What happened? Why did Kong-won suddenly attack Kong-sien? "Big brother, you?" The middle-aged man was shocked. "Don't call me big brother. I let you come to the Ancestral Star to seek refuge because of the relationship between you and my ancestors. Who would have thought that you would be so useless as to frame others as soon as you arrived?" Kong-won stared coldly at the couple. As soon as he said that, the atmosphere suddenly became tense. A trace of panic flashed in the couple's eyes, and they began to quibble with some guilt. "Big brother Kong-won, you've wronged us. That stone pearl, say no more." Kong-won shook his head in extreme disappointment, then walked towards Ningqi and laughed. "Junior brother, it's been more than 500 years since we last met on the central planet." "More or less." Ningqi smiled. "It really is Uncle Master Bei Xian." The group of Yuqing sect disciples brought here by Kong-won looked at Ningqi with some excitement. Although an edict came from the Langya immortal domain several hundred years ago, saying that Ningqi was an ancient immortal who colluded with the fiend race, causing people from other immortal domains to ridicule him whenever he was mentioned, the disciples of Yuqing sect were different. The attitude of many sects was not as firm as that of the other planet. Because the Ancestral Star was a relatively transcendent existence, even if it was an edict, the Langya immortal domain would not dare to send a primordial unity expert, and could only send a mystic immortal. Mystic immortal? The Jade Clear sect was not afraid at all. Not long ago, the Heavenly Tao list was updated again, and everyone found that Ning Qi's name had jumped from the first to the first on the Tai True Immortal list, and those ranked behind him were all geniuses from the Tiandao clan. Junior brother? This person is also a Jade Clear sect disciple? Chapter 30-22. Are these people really senior brother's distant relatives? Ning Qi glanced at the couple. Kong Wen nodded in disappointment. That's right. My ancestors came from Juku planet a long time ago. According to seniority, they are of the same generation as me. Junior brother, for my sake, spare their lives. Since senior brother said so, of course. Ning Qi nodded with a smile. Big brother, the middle-aged man looked at Kong Wen awkwardly. Go back to Juku planet. Kong Wen said with a cold expression. Uncle, I didn't expect you to be so snobbish. Just because he's a disciple of Yuqing sect, you're on his side? Don't forget. We're from the main branch of the Kong clan. You're just from a branch. If the old ancestors know that you're helping outsiders to deal with your own family, they'll definitely die with everlasting regret. Kong Xian covered his face and stood up with a venomous look on his face. How dare you? You really don't know what's good for you. Do you know? Traces of anger appeared on the faces of the Jade Clear sect disciples brought by Kong Wen. Kong Wen waved his hand, signaling them to shut up. He then looked at Kong Xian and said indifferently, I'm not helping outsiders to deal with my own family today. Don't put this kind of sh*t on me. I'm helping them with reason. Reason? You don't even have evidence and you think we're not in the right? Kong Xian said angrily. What evidence do you want? If my junior brother Ning Beixian really wants to snatch a stone bead from you, do you think you'll still be alive to see me? Kong Wen said indifferently. Ning Beixian? When Kong Xian heard this name, his vision suddenly darkened and he subconsciously took a few steps back. His parents also sucked in a breath of cold air and looked at Ning Qi in disbelief. This guy is Ning Beixian? The number one on the Tai True Immortal leaderboard, Ning Beixian? Big brother, we're in the wrong. We'll apologize to you. The middle-aged man quickly said. The middle-aged woman's eyes were also filled with fear. Kong Xian didn't dare to speak anymore. He lowered his head and didn't even dare to look at Ning Qi. Get lost. Kong Wen said indifferently. Yes. How could they dare to stay here for long? Upon hearing Kong Wen's words, they felt as if they had been granted amnesty, and were just about to lead everyone away when another voice rang out. Wait a minute. The group of people suddenly stiffened and looked at Ning Qi in horror. Was he not going to let them go? Was the other party going to kill him? Big brother, spare me, big brother. The middle-aged man fell to his knees and kowtowed to Kong Wen. He knew that Kong Wen was the only one who could put in a good word for him. The group of heavenly immortal disciples of the Yuqing school looked at this scene with some mockery. If they had known this would happen, why would they have acted in the first place? Junior brother? Kong Wen looked at Ning Qi. Senior brother, don't worry. I just have something to ask. Ning Qi smiled at Kong Wen and then looked at the family of three. What attracted you to the stone bead in Bei Meng's hand? The middle-aged man's face showed a hint of hesitation. Hurry up and say it. Kong Wen looked at him with disappointment. That's a heavenly origin stone. Our Kong clan's main branch has a cultivation technique that specifically identifies heavenly origin stones. The middle-aged man said in a low voice. Kong Wen's eyes moved slightly and some memories suddenly appeared in his mind. In those distant memories, the Kong clan's main branch did indeed have a special cultivation technique. It was because of this cultivation technique that the Kong clan was able to develop and flourish on Juku planet. However, the branch was not qualified to learn it. After so many years, Kong Wen had forgotten about this. Heavenly origin stone? Bei Meng was slightly stunned. She didn't expect the stone bead in her hand to have a name. What's a heavenly origin stone? Ning Qi frowned slightly. It seemed to be the first time he had heard of such a thing. What's a heavenly origin stone? A trace of confusion flashed in the middle-aged man's eyes. This question is too profound. Even my ancestors couldn't answer it. Then why did you take a fancy to this stone? Ning Qi said indifferently. After the middle-aged man explained for a long time, everyone finally understood. It turned out that their cultivation technique could identify the color of a heavenly origin stone. The lowest quality heavenly origin stone was almost colorless, but the higher the quality of the heavenly origin stone, the more golden it was, the higher the quality. Bei Meng, the stone in her hand, was the heavenly origin stone with a dense golden light. Apart from them, no one else could see the golden light on the outside. This proved that there must be some kind of treasure inside the heavenly origin stone that could be obtained by cutting it open. Apart from that, the heavenly origin stone had another characteristic. It could completely block out divine telekinesis. As expected, even my divine telekinesis can't enter it. Ning Qi's expression changed. Senior, can we go now? The middle-aged man looked at Ning Qi carefully and said, Yes, you can go. Ning Qi waved his hand lightly. Thank you, Senior. They did not dare to stay a moment longer and quickly fled out of the ancestral planet. Uncle Ning, do you think there's really something inside my stone bead? Bei Meng looked at Ning Qi curiously. Let's go to the Yuqing sect. I'll find some time to cut it open for you. Ning Qi smiled. Sigh, junior brother, I've really embarrassed myself this time. Kong Wen sighed. There will always be some black sheep in every family. It's inevitable. Ning Qi comforted. Even if it was the force he had established, didn't a bunch of cowardly fellows appear in the end? After Ning Qi and the others boarded the ferry boat, they headed in the direction of the Yuqing sect. However, no one realized that Ning Qi had already sent the Nuwa out. That was so close. I didn't expect to run into Ning Beixian. Didn't the Langyu Immortal Emperor say that he was colluding with the demons? Why didn't anyone come after him? The middle-aged woman asked as soon as they left the ancestral planet. Don't talk too much. Let's return to Juku planet first. The middle-aged man said with a solemn expression. Father, mother, this time, our Kong family's secret has been discovered by them. Will they act against us? Kong Xian was a little scared. They won't. There are too few people in the immortal world who know about the heavenly origin stone. That person probably won't be interested in our Kong family's cultivation method. The middle-aged man shook his head. Just as they were about to continue on their way, a huge object appeared in front of them. A white light shot out from it and sucked them all in. Nuwa's cockpit. Who are you? Where are we? Chapter 30-23. After arriving at Yuqing sect, Ning Qi had to pay a visit to old ancestor Yuqing first, so Bei Xiao and Bei Meng were handed over to Kong Wen. It was still the familiar valley. After Ning Qi walked into the valley, he saw old ancestor Yuqing sitting in front of a stone table in front of a bamboo building not far away. He kept putting chess pieces into the rolling white fog on the stone table. Occasionally there was a shrill scream. Master is killing people again. Every time he comes, he's killing people. Previously, when he passed by a certain planet, he was also killing people. Could it be that it's really as I guessed? For 365 days a year, Master has always been doing this kind of shady business? Ning Qi thought as he walked. Master. Walking to the stone table, Ning Qi cupped his hands and saluted. Then, he stood aside and waited for old ancestor Yuqing to finish his work. About 10 minutes later, with the last scream, the thick fog on the table suddenly disappeared. Old ancestor Yuqing showed a satisfied smile. Another family was wiped out. After a pause, he looked at Ningqi. I'm very happy that you can survive this time. Thank you for your help last time, Master. Ningqi said respectfully. He didn't change his attitude towards old ancestor Yuqing, who was only a Xian immortal, just because he had reached primordial unity. Not only because old ancestor Yuqing's real cultivation might be extremely terrifying, but also because Ningqi sincerely respected old ancestor Yuqing. What are you thanking me for? I didn't help much, and you even broke my hand. Old ancestor Yuqing said faintly. Ningqi looked at his right hand embarrassedly. Seeing that it was intact, he let out a sigh of relief. Ningqi knew how terrifying his strength was at that time. Old ancestor Yuqing could exchange a blow with him, but his hand was only broken. This showed that the hidden strength of old ancestor Yuqing might be far beyond ordinary people's imagination. Master, I'm very curious. You killed so many people. Did those people offend Yuqing's sex enemies? Ningqi cleverly changed the topic and asked the doubts in his heart. Old ancestor Yuqing smiled and stroked his beard. Now that things have come to this, let's get straight to the point. You are an ancient immortal. Yes. Ningqi nodded and glanced at the ancient immortal divine ring in his hand. From the moment he wore this ring, he was already a member of the ancient immortal sect. However, he suspected that even if it wasn't for this ring, he might have been born as an ancient immortal. I'm also an ancient immortal, and the people I killed were all descendants of immortals who kicked the ancient immortal race when they were down after the first great war of immortals and demons. Old ancestor Yuqing smiled. Ningqi was slightly stunned. He didn't expect that there was such a relationship behind old ancestor Yuqing's actions. In that case, old ancestor Yuqing has been taking revenge on the descendants of his enemies who hit the ancient immortal clan when they were down? Unfortunately, there were too many people who threw stones at me when I was down. I've been killing for so many years, but I still haven't killed them all. Old ancestor Jade Clear sighed. Master, may I ask how many have you killed over the years? Ningqi asked curiously. Even if it's not 1 billion, it should be at least 800 million. Old ancestor Yuqing said lightly. Although his tone was indifferent, Ningqi seemed to feel an overwhelming killing intent at that moment, causing a layer of cold sweat to form on his back. Even if it's not 1 billion, it should be at least 800 million. Isn't that too many people killed? In the eyes of those who didn't know the truth, old ancestor Yuqing was no different from a devil. However, Ningqi was on the same side as old ancestor Yuqing, so he didn't have any other thoughts apart from feeling a little shocked. The cultivation techniques of those little guys you met just now are not bad. You can cultivate them when you have time. They might be useful in the future. Old ancestor Yuqing suddenly smiled. Ningqi smiled awkwardly, thinking that old ancestor Yuqing should already know that he sent Nuwa. Master, you know about the Heavenly Source Stone too? Ningqi's eyes flickered. The Heavenly Source Stone. Old ancestor Yuqing said slowly. It's not a stone from our immortal world. It's from the Shenluo world. Sometimes you might be able to find elixirs, cultivation techniques, or dharma treasures from it. But sometimes you might find death and disaster from it. Before the great war between immortals and demons in the immortal world, there was a period of time when the Heavenly Source Stone was very popular. Many people became rich overnight and broke through their bottlenecks because of it. But later, someone found a person from the Heavenly Source Stone. It cut out a person? Ningqi was stunned. That person is called Jiang Tianshu. Old ancestor Yuqing smiled. Hiss, Ningqi sucked in a breath of cold air. He looked at old ancestor Yuqing in disbelief. He seemed to have discovered an incredible secret. Jiang Tianshu, a fourth-step existence, had actually been cut out of the Heavenly Source Stone? How is that possible? So, you can play with this kind of thing occasionally, but it's easy to run into ghosts after playing with it a few times. Old ancestor Yuqing sighed. Who knew that a heavenly source stone could cause a great war between immortals and demons? You want to cut our ancient immortal clan into pieces? Ning Qi did not say anything because he did not know what to say. The demon ancestor's heart is in your body now, right? Make good use of it. Don't think that it's a taboo because it's left behind by the demon ancestor. As long as you can ensure that you don't lose your sanity, it's a powerful opportunity for you to reach the third step. Now, the Tiandao family is playing the same trick and preparing to be a coward. As for the demons, we ancient immortals have to contend with them. However, all of this is just the Tiandao family's delaying tactic. When Jiang Tianshu is free, the demons and us will all die. I reckon we will have to bear the name of traitors of the Celestial Clan for the second time, so? Old ancestor Yu Qing sighed. The situation is not optimistic. Master, is there no other way? Ning Qi asked with an ugly expression. Yes, there is a way. I heard that there are many experts in the Shenluo world. If an ancient immortal can enter the Shenluo world and cultivate to become stronger than Jiang Tianshu, wouldn't he have the final say in the immortal world? Unfortunately, it's easy to come out of the Shenluo world, but it's extremely difficult to enter. Even a fourth step Almighty can't open it casually. Old ancestor Yu Qing shook his head. Ning Qi's expression changed. He immediately thought of the door that swallowed Jian Shilai and the others. Wasn't that door opened by the devil ancestor's heart? If the other side was really the Shenluo world, he might have a way to enter. I found it. Old ancestor Yu Qing's eyes suddenly lit up. White mist spread out from the table again. Seeing that he was about to play chess again, Ning Qi bowed and said, Master, take your time. Disciple will take his leave first. Uncle Ning, you're here? I'm considering whether or not I should cut it open to take a look. Bei Meng and Bei Xiao were chatting in a beautiful courtyard accompanied by a few Yuqing sect disciples. Seeing Ning Qi walking over, Bei Meng immediately stood up to welcome him. When the other Yuqing sect disciples saw this, they also stood up and looked at Ning Qi with admiration and excitement. Oh, let's not cut it for now. Ning Qi glanced at the stone bead in Bei Meng's hand. When he thought of someone cutting Jiang Tianshu out, he felt a chill in his heart. What if a fourth step was cut out? Oh, all right then, Bei Meng nodded in disappointment. I'm going back to the Xianjian sect. Are you guys coming together? Ning Qi laughed. Chapter 30-24. Niwa. It seemed to be Bei Xiao and Bei Meng's first time on the ship, so they were very surprised by the decorations inside. However, they only dared to look at it with their eyes and did not dare to move. They knew that Ning Qi's cultivation was too high, and they would not be able to withstand a single restrictive spell. Master, this is the cultivation technique you wanted, origin creation technique. Niwa handed a jade scroll to Ning Qi. I made some deductions and there were a few mistakes in it. After beating them up, they corrected the mistakes. Ning Qi took it and scanned it with his divine will. With his cultivation, he almost understood 80% of the origin creation technique in less than a breath's time. This was a cultivation technique that specialized in refining one's eyes. After mastering it, one could distinguish the grade of the heavenly source stone with their naked eyes. Other than that, there was no other use for it. No wonder it had declined. Where are they? Ning Qi kept the jade scroll and smiled. I beat them up and let them go, Niwa said. Ning Qi nodded and pointed at Bei Xiao and Bei Meng. Bring them to play some games. After saying that, Ning Qi's figure suddenly disappeared on the spot. Top-level cultivation training ground. Ning Qi used less than a day to cultivate the origin creation technique. After that, he would advance a small level every 3 days. In less than a month, he had already cultivated the origin creation technique to the 9th level. After cultivating the origin creation technique, Ning Qi felt a little itchy in his eyes. This feeling lasted for about a dozen breaths before it gradually faded. It's no different from before. It seems that the effect can only be manifested on the heavenly source stone. This cultivation technique might have been passed down from the Shunluo realm. It should be an extremely low-level cultivation technique in the Shunluo realm if it can be cultivated so easily, Ning Qi thought to himself. With a thought, he left the top-level cultivation training ground. Bei Xiao sat on the sofa with a smile on her face as she watched Bei Meng happily play all sorts of games on the Nuwa. Uncle Ning. Seeing Ning Qi, Bei Xiao immediately stood up. Have a seat. Ning Qi smiled and waved his hand. Then, he called Bei Meng over and asked her to take out the stone bead. As soon as the stone bead appeared, Ning Qi felt a numbing sensation in his eyes again. Then, he saw a golden gas surrounding the stone bead. Cut? Or not cut? There must be something hidden in this heavenly source stone. It's such a small stone. I can't possibly cut out a person, can I? Ning Qi pondered for a moment before asking Bei Meng with a smile, Little girl, do you want to cut off this rock? You decide. Uncle Ning, you do it. Bei Meng handed the stone bead to Ning Qi. A trace of curiosity flashed across Bei Xiao's eyes. He stood beside Ning Qi and looked at the stone bead nervously. He also wanted to know what was hidden in the stone bead. Then I'll cut it. With a thought, Ning Qi set up layers of restrictive spells around the stone bead, isolating Bei Xiao and Bei Meng outside to prevent dangerous substances from appearing in the stone bead. Then, using his finger as a knife, he slowly cut down the center of the stone bead. There was a popping sound. The stone bead was cut in half. In the next moment, a terrifying cloud of black smoke emerged from the stone bead and instantly condensed into a figure. This person was about the same height as Ning Qi and was dressed in black. His silver hair draped over his shoulders and covered most of his face. However, just from the remaining half of his face, one could tell that he had a long face. He was also very handsome. Ha, ha ha, ha ha ha. A deep laughter came from his mouth and gradually grew louder. There seemed to be a hint of pride, surprise, and relief in his laughter. There's a person in my bead all this time? Bei Meng stared at the person in shock. Bei Xiao was also shocked and a hint of vigilance appeared in his eyes. You really cut out a person? Ning Qi felt that he was a little unlucky. Such a small bead and it cut out a person for him? And this person seemed to be mentally unstable. You're the one who released me from the heavenly source stone, right? The person suddenly stopped laughing and looked at Ning Qi. I think so. Ning Qi nodded. Then you're really unlucky. The corner of the person's mouth curled up slightly. In the next moment, he turned into a stream of demonic aura and surged into Ning Qi's body through his orifices. Your body, I'll borrow it. Ah, Uncle Ning. Bei Xiao and Bei Meng looked at this scene in shock and worry appeared in their eyes. This person was obviously not a kind person. Soon, the black aura entered Ning Qi's consciousness. Although this fleshly body is worlds apart from my previous fleshly body, it's enough for me to use for the time being. The black aura formed in Ning Qi's consciousness again. When he looked around, he was stunned and a look of disbelief appeared on his face. That is, after being suppressed by the silver dragon, the demon progenitor's heart suddenly became violent. Then, a force shot out from it like a giant hand and grabbed the human figure formed by the black aura. Wait, this is a misunderstanding. The black aura was continuously grabbed towards the demon progenitor's heart. No matter how it struggled, it could not break free. I hate it. The black aura let out a final cry and was absorbed into the demon progenitor's heart. Ning Qi's spiritual force watched from the beginning to the end. He had wanted to fight with the person, but he did not expect the demon progenitor's heart to swallow the person just like that. It seems that although the silver dragon has suppressed it, it still has its own demonic will. That hand just now was condensed from this demonic will. This is a ticking time bomb. Ning Qi's expression was a little complicated. After swallowing the black aura, the demon progenitor's heart seemed to have become a little stronger. If it continued to devour, one day it would not be able to control itself and explode again. By then, Ning Qi's consciousness would definitely be swallowed again. Before I find a way to absorb it, I can't let it get close to something similar to the black aura just now, Ning Qi thought to himself. Uncle Ning, are you all right? Bei Xiao and Bei Meng looked at Ning Qi nervously. Nuwa stood beside them and data flashed across her eyes. She seemed to be calculating Ning Qi's chances of winning. I'm fine. Ning Qi's spiritual force returned to his body and he casually removed the array. He smiled and shook his head at the two of them. That guy tried to take over my body, but I killed him. I didn't expect such a dangerous existence to be hidden in my stone bead. Bei Meng's face was filled with lingering fear and self-blame. Chapter 30-25 Xianjian Sect. A few former disciples of the Golden Sun Peak were patrolling around the sect. Suddenly, one of them saw a huge object flying over from afar and was immediately shocked. What's that? This is bad. Is this the invasion of the Demon Clan's spies? The few of them panicked and hurriedly sent out a message signal. After the message signal exploded in the air, one figure after another gathered over, and one of them was an elder at the early stage of Golden Immortal. Elder Shen. The few Golden Sun Peak disciples hurriedly bowed. What's going on? Elder Shen frowned. Elder Shen, please take a look. One of them pointed into the distance and said with some fear, We suspect that there is an invasion from the Demon Clan? Demon Clan? What a joke. With that senior in our Xianjian sect, which Demon Clan would dare to behave atrociously? Could it be that the Demon Clan healed so quickly and forgot about the scars? The Demon Lord who died in our ancestral star was not a small fry. Elder Shen sneered, and then calmly looked in the direction where the Nuwa ship was flying from. With this look, the expression on his face became extremely interesting, and he slapped the Golden Sun Peak disciple on the head. Have you forgotten about this immortal boat? That's Bei Xian back. Senior brother Bei Xian? Everyone was dumbstruck, but immediately after, they remembered that a long time ago, when the holy concubine of Cold Sky and the others came to the Xianjian sect, they rode on this strange-looking immortal boat. Senior brother Bei Xian is actually back. The last time the heavenly law ranking was updated, he was already a Tai true immortal. This is great. With senior brother Bei Xian here, our Xianjian sect will be a bit safer. In the future, even if the Demon Clan invades, we won't be afraid. But, didn't the Langya Immortal Domain have an edict saying that he is from the ancient Immortal Clan? Maybe the invasion of the Demon Clan this time is related to him? Bullshit. Don't spout nonsense. I'm not talking nonsense. If you don't believe me, you can open the All-Heaven Talisman and take a look for yourself. Some people have already suggested that the reason the demons are making a comeback is because of the ancient Immortal Clan. Think about it. Have you forgotten what happened on the central planet? Why did the ancient Immortal Clan appear? Then, the Demon Clan appeared along with them? How can there be such a coincidence in this world? Anyway, if you want to live now, don't spout nonsense. After all, we're friends. I don't want you to die in senior brother Beishuan's hands. Many disciples of the Xianjian sect took out their all-heaven talismans to take pictures of the Nuwa ship. In just a few breaths of time, almost everyone in the Xianjian sect had received the news. Before long, Nuwa arrived in front of Elder Shen. Is Bei Xian back? Elder Shen cupped his fists and said. The Nuwa disappeared into thin air, and Ning Qi appeared in front of everyone with Bei Xiao and Bei Meng. Elder Shen, I haven't seen you for many years. You are still strong despite your age. Ningqi stepped forward with a smile and cupped his hands. Ever since Yi Rulong and Jiang Kuan were no longer in the Xianjian sect, the other elders and peak masters of the Xianjian sect all had a good relationship with Ningqi. You flatter me. No matter how vigorous I am still old. How can I compare to you? When the Heavenly Tao rankings were updated, your name appeared at the top of the Tai True Immortal rankings. Have you really advanced to the Tai True Immortal realm? Elder Shen asked curiously. The rest of the Xianjian sect disciples also pricked up their ears, wanting to personally see Ningqi admit this point. After all, in their eyes, Ningqi's cultivation speed was something that even a monstrous genius could not compare to. They did not know what words to use to describe Ningqi's speed of advancement. Many people had studied Ningqi and discovered that when Ningqi came to the Xianjian sect, he was indeed only an early-stage worldly immortal. But until now, in less than 1,000 years, he was already ranked first on the Tai True Immortal rankings. This meant that as long as the immortal monarch did not appear, Ningqi was an invincible existence. In the lower realms, he could already be considered a powerhouse. I was just lucky. Ningqi smiled and nodded. Hiss, everyone, including Elder Shen, sucked in a breath of cold air when they saw Ningqi admitted himself. Gazes of adoration and excitement fell on Ningqi. Only a few gazes vaguely revealed a trace of hostility. Elder Shen, I'm going to the moon missing peak. We'll catch up next time. Ningqi cupped his hands and laughed. Go, I won't disturb you anymore. When I'm free, I'll visit you. Elder Shen quickly said. Moon missing peak. Ningqi hadn't returned for a few hundred years, and realized that the group of girls that he had brought to the moon missing peak had long since grown up. The huge moon missing peak, before they could even get close, they could already smell the scent of cosmetics in the air. The people entering and exiting were all female disciples, and there were only a few male disciples mixed in. They were all from the group that used to be at the moon missing peak. Senior Sister Zhao, I heard that you've been very close to Senior Brother Lin on the main peak recently. Haha, when are you going to marry? How about this? Let me inherit your spirit pellet. Don't spout nonsense. I won't marry out of the moon missing peak. If I were to marry, it would be Senior Brother Lin marrying in. Senior Sister Zhao, you're really shameless to say that. The few female disciples laughed as they flew out. Ningqi sized up their cultivation from afar, and discovered that although they had not been cultivating for too long, only a few hundred years, there were already existences at the great perfection of the worldly immortal stage amongst the group of female disciples. Such a cultivation speed was naturally not comparable to Ningqi's, but compared to the other disciples, they were much faster. It was estimated that a large part of the reason was that the cultivation resources that Ningqi had placed in the moon missing peak were too terrifying, so that the girls of the moon missing peak didn't have to worry about elixirs when cultivating. The few female disciples soon discovered Ningqi and the other two. Among them, the girl called Senior Sister Zhao suddenly blushed, knowing that their conversation had been heard by Ningqi and the other two. Who are you? Outsiders are not allowed to enter the moon missing peak. They flew in front of Ningqi and the other two and said, You don't recognize me? Ningqi smiled. You are. The few female disciples looked at each other, and then looked at Ningqi and the other two up and down with some doubts. Then, Senior Sister Zhao screamed and pointed at Ningqi excitedly. You, Senior Sister Zhao, who is he? Have you forgotten who saved us from the hands of Patriarch Poisonous Toad? Senior Sister Zhao quickly whispered to the other girls. It's Big Brother Ning? You must call him Senior Brother Ning. Senior Sister Zhao reminded them, and then excitedly and respectfully bowed to Ningqi. Zhao Yin greets Senior Brother Ning. Senior Brother Ning, you're the same generation as me? Ningqi felt a little strange. This Senior Sister Fang asked us to call him that. She said that it would make us look younger, Zhao Yan said with a red face. Chapter 30-26. You guys go ahead. Ning Qi smiled and waved his hand. Then, he led Bei Xiao and Bei Meng into the missing moon peak. Zhao Yan and the other female disciples were extremely excited. Thinking back to hundreds of years ago, when they were still ignorant children, they were saved by Ning Qi from the hands of the poisonous toad ancestor, and were even brought to the Xianjian sect to step onto the path of cultivation. It was equivalent to their own fate being completely changed by Ning Qi, and their hearts were naturally filled with gratitude towards Ning Qi. If it wasn't for Ning Qi, they would already be dead. I hope that senior apprentice brother Ning can stay in the sect for a while. It would be great if I could ask him for some advice on cultivation. A female disciple looked at Ning Qi's back with an infatuated expression. Don't even think about it. Zhao Yan smiled at her, but when she looked at Ning Qi, her eyes flashed with a strange light that was hard to detect. Senior apprentice brother Ning? Senior apprentice brother Ning is back. The news spread like wildfire. Before Ning Qi even reached the Peak Master Hall, he was surrounded by a large group of junior sisters. Junior apprentice sisters, please make way, please make way. Senior apprentice brother Ning definitely has to go see senior apprentice sister Fang first. Don't block the way. Fan Xing shouted as he flew over. At the same time, he helped maintain order. Senior apprentice brother Ning, it's good that you came back. Fan Xing excitedly saluted Ning Qi. No matter what the Langya Immortal region said, from the moment the mysterious sword old man disappeared, Ning Qi had already become the backbone of the Xianjian sect. No matter how strong the person in the courtyard was, he had only been in closed-door cultivation all year round. Make arrangements for these two little fellows. Ning Qi pointed at Bei Xiao Bei Meng. In the next moment, he moved slightly and disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already in the Peak Master Hall. Master, you're back? As soon as Ning Qi arrived at the Peak Master Hall, he ran into Fang Qin and Fang Shu. Where's your wife? Ning Qi laughed. Madam is in seclusion. She hasn't come out for more than 200 years. Fang Qin laughed. 200 years? What is your wife's current cultivation level? Ning Qi was slightly stunned. 400 years ago, Madam had already attained 33 Dao fruit. Now, she's trying to break through to the profound immortal realm. A hint of pride appeared on Fang Qin's face. 33 Dao fruits, Ning Qi could not help but nod. This had indeed exceeded his expectations. He hadn't expected that Fang Lingming would be able to attain 33 Dao fruit. In this way, she would become a top-rate genius in the celestial world. If she broke through to the profound immortal realm, then she would be able to suppress most of the geniuses of the heavenly Dao clan on the ranking of profound immortals. Where is Li Xin? Ning Qi asked again. Second Madam is also in seclusion, Fang Qin said. Has she broken through to the Grand Luo realm as well? How many Dao fruits did you obtain? Ning Qi asked curiously. Second Madam has attained 32 Dao fruits. Fang Qin's lips curled up slightly. One less than Madam. 32, that's not bad. Looks like they won't be coming out anytime soon, Ning Qi muttered. Then, he walked to where the Saint Concubine and Li Xin were in seclusion. He planned to use his divine sense to investigate, but when he saw that the two women had set up restrictive spells, he gave up on the idea. He didn't want to force his divine sense in and cause the two women to suffer cultivation deviation. Ning Qi glanced at the green-robed old man's courtyard and gave up on the idea of paying him a visit. He soared into the air and flew towards the main peak. The main peak. The sect master's palace. The two elders, Murong and Nangong, were sitting on one side each, constantly going through the documents sent by their disciples. Ningqi had already walked up to them, but the two of them did not notice him. It's finally over. Nangong let out a deep breath. When he looked up, he was startled. Bei Xian. Bei Xian? Murong immediately looked up as well. Thank you for your hard work, elders. Ningqi smiled. Nangong and Murong had received quite a lot of preferential treatment over the past hundreds of years. Their cultivation resources were more than 10 times more than before. However, due to their limited talent, they still couldn't break through to the Grand Luo realm. Ningqi estimated that they wouldn't have much of a chance to break through without tens of thousands of years. Even those tens of thousands of years were under the condition that they didn't have to worry about medicinal pellet. It seemed like a long time, but compared to ordinary immortals, their speed of advancement was considered fast. Bei Xian, it's good that you're back. The invasion of the demons has shaken the entire world of immortals. Many immortals outside have taken a liking to the one from the moon missing peak and the jade pure ancestor, and they keep coming to the homeworld. With more people comes more trouble and all sorts of fights for resources. Now, the Wind and Cloud sect, the Mountain Destruction sect, and the other sects are constantly asking us to go out and judge. Those sects from the outside world wouldn't dare to touch our Mystic Sword sect's assets, but many of the assets of the Wind and Cloud sect and the others have been taken away. Elder Nangong sighed and said, the main thing is that if this continues, the homeworld will become the #1 enemy of the demons. Last time, they sent a demon monarch here because of that, but he was slain by that senior with a single strike. Anyway, it's good that you're back. How should we deal with the demons next? Elder Murong said. It's nothing more than fighting and killing. If our strength isn't equal, all kinds of strategies will be useless. At this level, the methods of the mortal world are useless. But we don't have to worry about that in the short term. It will take a long time for the demons to reach the homeworld. At worst, we'll just fight them. Ningqi smiled. It's mainly the Heavenly Dao clan. Elder Nangong wanted to say something but stopped. The Heavenly Dao clan won't do anything. Ningqi said calmly. Only the ancient immortal clan can save the world of immortals when the demons invade. I hope that the two elders will remember this. The ancient immortal clan? The expressions of the two of them changed slightly as they looked at each other. It seemed like the order from the Langyu immortal region was very likely true. The most outstanding disciple in the history of the Xianjian sect in front of them might really be the successor of the ancient immortal clan. You don't have to guess anymore. I am indeed an ancient immortal. Ningqi smiled. Seeing Ningqi admit it so calmly, Nangong and Murong felt a little relieved. That's right, so what if he was from the ancient immortal clan? They were very clear about Ningqi's personality. Even if the reputation of the ancient immortal clan was very bad, and they were called traitors of the immortal world, at least the person in front of them was definitely not that kind of person. Don't worry, Bei Xian. No matter who you are, we will stand on your side. If the Langya immortal emperor wants to attack, then we will fight with them. The two of them laughed. With the current situation, as the puppet of the Heavenly Dao clan, how would the Langya immortal emperor dare to come to the ancestral star? The Heavenly Dao clan wants to use the demon race to force our ancient immortal clan to come out and exhaust the strength of our two clans so that they can reap the benefit. For now, we don't need to care about the Langya immortal domain. Ningqi smiled and shook his head. What? The Heavenly Dao clan is using the demon race to. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.